which one of Admirable's and I's shirts that you like the most. But it's about time to start talking about the first matchup of the day, which is going to be Alliance versus Tempo Storm. Now, we talked about Alliance coming in 0-2. Only 2 game wins. Tempo Storm had a rough week last week, but they've sort of been looking shaky even in their wins. So I'm really excited about this one. Both these teams have a lot to prove, and they have a lot that they need to turn around if they want to make this a good season.
Yeah, for Alliance, I think you could have considered them the favorite coming into this tournament. They had 2015 world champion Ostkaka. They have Orange on the team, who's been performing fantastic so far here in 2016 and the end of 2015 also with the Seat Story Cup win. And Powder, as a new addition to the team, he's kind of been a veteran of the scene for a long time. Just a strong player who has very consistent finishes. But you look at Tempo Storm, and this is a team that has the new addition with VLPS, but 2 mainstays in their own right with Just Sayin and Gara on that team. But last week it felt like their communication and their synergy was a bit lacking. VLPS chose to play a very unique aggro paladin build that in all rights, frankly, was kind of a bad build. And Gara at some point verbalized that in their communication. He said, the deck is just bad. And that was a moment where I really kind of looked at it and went, I mean, when you're losing, it's definitely tough to keep high spirits, but you got to fix the deck choice. You got to fix communication. Something's got to give.
It was really tough to watch, but we'll see if they can turn it around. Let's go ahead and take a look at the match format. Both teams submit 9 unique decks, which means 1 for each of the 9 classes. Before the match starts, we go into a pick and ban phase where each team will ban 2 of the opposing team's decks and then pick 6 out of the remaining 7 to play during their match. The match will be best of 11, and it will use the last year standing format, which means the winning deck moves on to the next game. Guaranteed, and the losing deck is eliminated from play for the rest of the match. So essentially best of 11 means first to 6 game wins the match. And with that, it's time to move into the picks and bans for the first game, or for the first match of the day. It's Alliance versus Tempo Storm. And let's go ahead and see the first bans coming in. No surprise.
Yeah, Shaman is just far and away the strongest deck at the moment. Even some of the counter strategies can fail against this build. I saw Fibonacci posted a list on Twitter that was an anti-Shaman build. That would work pretty well, but it's got to be pretty dedicated. And then Warrior banned away from Alliance as well, a second potential aggressive build, while Alliance is taking away Tempo Storm's Rogue. And Rogue seems to be a very punishing deck when you have to play the wide range of classes.
Yeah, and both teams decided to exclude Rexar from their lineup, so again, no surprise there. These teams are some of the teams that I expect to break the mold. Maybe not this week, since they're trying to solidify their place in the standings. But trying something new when you get far behind is not necessarily something that's unheard of. But there's Alliance, there's Kaka, Orange, and Powder. The classes underneath each of their portraits represents the classes that those players will be piloting during the match. But keep in mind, even though these players will be piloting the decks, all of the players are working together. They're communicating and collaborating on each and every turn. So it's really a team effort here at the Trinity Series.
Yeah, I do want to have the main player piloting the deck to make the final decisions if you're split, though. Ostkaka, of course, a very proficient rogue and mage player. Orange has always loved to play priest. And Powder, he's always kind of been a paladin player, but Warlock and Druid definitely feel right up his alley. More of the mid-range style of play.
Yeah, and there's the lineup for Tempo Storm, VLPS, Gara, and Just Sayin. VLPS, Mage, Priest, Gara, Paladin, Warlock, and Just Sayin, Warrior, and Druid. And Gara piloting the Paladin this week probably indicates maybe a little bit of change in strategy for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix around of the decks here, where Just Sayin, a very proficient Freeze Mage player, so I would anticipate the deck perhaps not being Freeze Mage, but maybe that unconscious thought that you may get from seeing VLPS on the Mage is what they're trying to do, knowing that Just Sayin can effectively be making the head decisions with that build because they're working together. So the way that the decks are split up, to me, could spell some area where mind games could take place.
Yeah, definitely. It only benefits you to sort of switch things up to try and keep your opponents guessing, what deck might they play. Especially, we talked about it in weeks 1 and 2. The teams that are at the bottom of the standings have the most reason to bring weird decks and new builds, because they're the ones that, have the least to lose by changing things up and trying to find the strategy that works, that they're going to be able to, take advantage of as we move forward. So definitely something to look forward to as we're in week number 3 and maybe 4, but admirable. You know what time it is. It's time for game number 1.
Here at Trinity Series. And there they are in the top left. It's going to be Orange piloting. It's Alliance. In the bottom left, there's the man himself. Just saying will be the pilot. It's Tempo Storm.
Nerd chills, admirable.
Oh my gosh, TJ, I'm so hyped for this right now. So it's going to be any Finn Paladin taking on the Aggro Warrior, and it seems to be people are adopting the Naga Corsair tech that Life Coach introduced.
Yeah, a lot of players decided to move away from Mortal Strike because it's not very flexible in the build. So, there was a lot of tech choices that some players decided to put in. A lot of the top end decided to settle on Naga Corsair. Some players decided to try maybe some tech choices like Acidic Swamp Boost for the Mirror or for Shaman matchups. But it's definitely Naga Corsair we saw last week in some of the matches, especially in G2's matches, was an MVP in getting that little bit of extra damage, getting that big body on the board to try and push even more.
Yeah, speaking of bodies on the board, Patches is a free one. And it's something you see quite often. Alliance not having coin makes Wild Pyromancer a much more difficult card to use in the Paladin deck, but they're just looking to disrupt Tempo Storm's early game. If they can manage to do that and buy some time, maybe they get Finja on board and find the board swing they're looking for. But for Alliance, it is about finding efficient board swings.
Yeah, and one thing to point out here, Tempo Storm queues up Pirate Warrior first, which is kind of interesting because Pirate Warrior, the aggro decks are usually used as a counter matchup when your opponent plays a control deck, but almost every single team has been opening with Murloc Paladin. So Tempo Storm decided to try and blind pick the Warrior and hope that they ran into the Murloc Paladin, and Alliance ran right into this. So Tempo Storm gets that favorable matchup by making that bold first pick. But let's go and take a listen into Alliance to see what they're thinking through on these early turns.
There is hero power
playing
here.
the Pyro is bad if we draw equality and bad if they have Works.
Yeah, I think we just hero power.
But we also let them coin frauding if we don't play Pyromancer and we let them coin frauding trade. It's really bad. Or it's pretty bad for us.
That's true.
Frauding, like coin frauding, both.
I think with this hand, I think we're just trying to go pretty heavy for board control and not relying on draw equality. I want to just play the Pyromancer.
I think they actually like the hero power more because we have Peacekeeper into frauding, Peacekeeper into True Silver and frauding.
Yeah. I don't think we ever played Pyro here.
Reporting for duty.
I want to go 1 coin 2, I think.
Do you really want to coin the 2? Because I think coining out the Naga Corsair next turn is pretty good too. Gives us an extra 3 damage, right? Or
Coining out Corsair plays right into True Silver.
Yeah.
For 1 extra damage, I don't like it. It plays bad. Coin Raider, I think. We're so likely to hit a 3-drop for curve. We have 2.
So what is the alternative play? Vorex would be the alternative play, right?
Yeah,
I don't think we. I don't think we're
I
actually.
think we develop board.
It's just a question of whether we coin the Blood Seal out, which I think is fine.
What now?
Yeah, let's get the damage in now. He can't Wild Pyromancer yet, so he gets at least 3 in now while he can.
I don't think Corsair loses much value by holding it.
Yeah, it does.
I agree.
Yeah, not much to think about.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
just
gonna
skip for the 3/3.
Are we just gonna chill a bit to make them think that we have options, or is there any value in that?
Turn 3. I mean, what options would we have as Paladin?
Or our hand pretty much just plays out itself.
Follow the rule.
So you can see right off the bat, on the first turns where they have playable minions, Alliance already, arguing about over a play. Maybe not arguing, but having a little bit of a disagreement on the right line of play to make. So these teams, maybe a little bit of tension even this early in the game, since both of these teams are sort of at the bottom half of the standings.
Yeah, something I did like to hear from Tempo Storm was Skara saying, well, what's our alternative play? It's just simply Fiery War Axe. And they all quickly ruled that out, all 3 of them. It's just not very good. It's just saying, it's a bad play. And you heard VLPS really wanting to coin into the Naga Corsair to try to unlock that potential, but just saying, pointing out, played right into true silver champion. So this line of play, when they drew the Southsea captain, just gave them such a strong plan of attack here. And I'm curious if there's anything Alliance can do to get out of this one other than draw equality.
And even then, I mean, look at there's still damage from hand for Tempo Storm. They have a Fire War Axe, they have a Heroic Strike. That's 10 damage over the course of 2 turns. So it's going to be really tough for Alliance to mount a comeback unless they pretty much draw perfectly for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the early start is just so strong when the Warrior build gets going. Doomsayer is showing up way late to the party, but even still would have been offset by the Fiery War Axe from Tempo Storm's hand. This is such a bad matchup for Paladin.
Yeah.
This is the way it goes.
So they can Aldor Peacekeeper and attack into the 5/4. But let's go ahead and hear what their plan is from their own words.
They were not that Tarkinite.
Yeah.
Follow the rule. The end is coming.
Not that I'm leaking yeah, I didn't.
Don't get fancy with it.
I can BM. I can go captain and play this, right?
Just do War Axe
Zero
right?
pirates.
Just work.
We
Maybe
we should play the top deck actually, and we should rope them.
no. Some lists run 1 captain.
Yeah, we don't want to give away that we're playing 2 captains.
Oh, okay,
Actually,
yeah. That actually makes
potential
sense.
attack.
Just thinking about it.
2 captains also speaks for no mobs.
Stay in the VMer.
It's like it's a really tilting top deck if you have 3 pirates and you top deck captain.
Tempo Storm takes game number 1.
So good. So good.
Tastosis would be proud.
They would. But yeah, I mean, you could see that Alliance really struggles with Murloc Paladin on their side of the board and on the opponent's side of the board.
Yeah.
Not really much you can do there. Tempo Storm, I think, just read them like a book.
One of the interesting things to me is that every team has chosen to open up with Anyfin Paladin so very often, and Tempo Storm simply took advantage of that precedent. And off to a game number 1 start here, the Anyfin Paladin being down, I'm not sure it matters too much in this set because Tempo Storm's lineup looks a little bit more equipped to tackle that, but I'm not sure Alliance is sweating just yet. They have plenty of decks, I feel, that are going to be okay versus that Warrior.
Yeah, I think so. And it's just a matter of which one. I think Tempo Storm was just trying to get out on the right foot, take that first win, understanding that, if we lose, if we win, we'll probably lose the next match. But, let's get that Murloc Paladin out of the way because pretty much every team's been queuing that in their first match.
Yeah, so it's just a game win, too. I mean, if you get that right matchup, you're dumpstering them. And, it's first to 6 wins here, so every single win counts. And knocking out your opponent's lineup, when their choices become smaller, it means that they have less availability to counter you. So if one deck lines up nicely, but they have a counter available, a lot different than if there isn't one.
And Pyro Warrior can still beat about everything.
Yes, it can. I think that's the benefit of all of the aggressive decks right now is that even when they have a stacked matchup against them, they still have some game. Now, the question that comes in is, can they beat decks that are dedicated as counter builds? Typically, to that one, the answer is no. But I don't think Alliance is quite necessarily bringing super anti-aggro decks.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they queue up next, but they still have pretty much everything at their disposal. Pirate Warrior versus... It beats Druid, beats Rogue, it beats sometimes Dragon Priest.
I'm thinking the Priest, the Mage, or the Warlock is going to be the queue here. But
probably the Mage, if I had to guess. But we talked about it earlier. Ostkaka is on the Mage this week. So it may necessarily not be the Reno Mage like we've seen in past weeks, especially since a lot of teams have been changing what Mage they play. It could even be a Tempo Mage, which still is decent versus Pirate Warrior. It depends on the build. If you're playing double mirror image, then you can stabilize in the mid game and use a removal. But let's go and see. They are going to queue up the Mage, and there's a Reno right away. So that gives us some information, and that's a definite keep. Doomsayer as well for Alliance.
Yeah, of course, the Reno Mage deck utilizing the full heal power of Reno Jackson. The deck is playing very similarly to what the Paladin plan wants to do against this matchup, but just much more efficient tools to make that happen. Some strong early game removal spells. Of course, the big heal alongside the 4/6 body. And there you go. AoE board clear. That's a lot cheaper than what Paladin has.
Yeah, Demon Wrath. Pretty good.
It's pretty cool. Now, Tempo Storm, I'm curious how they're going to end up mulliganing this, because Bloodsail Cultist is one of the stronger cards in this build. But knowing that they're playing against Mage, if there's a Doomsayer on the other side of the board and they don't have Small Time Buccaneer and Fiery War Axe, it's a lot harder to fight against it. They're actually going to hang on to the Southsea Captain, and that's a pretty interesting choice. I mean, it definitely is very powerful versus Mage, and that it pulls a lot of your cards outside of the hero power range, but Patches drawn on turn 1, and that's a huge punish.
Patches O'Houlihan. Drawn in the opening hand.
And Alliance now knows Patches is in the grip.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually not that bad because of the fact that it probably would have gotten swept up by Doomsayer. It's just missed damage, I suppose, but they might be able to get
card.
Yeah, also minus a card. That's true. It's pretty bad.
Like, you replaced a draw that could have been Heroic Strike, that could have been, you know, a Fiery War Axe. Instead, it's a Stone Tusk Boar.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I was watching a discussion between some players the other day talking about whether or not it's correct to keep Patches in your opening hand if you have Shaman. It was the worst discussion I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's not.
It's people trying to make themselves feel better after drawing Patches 10 games in a row. But let's go and listen into Tempo Storm to see what they're thinking about on these early Power Warrior turns.
The first.
Yeah, I mean, next turn we still have Patches into Southsea Captain.
Yeah. If you think about it, 4 damage, it just has to be done.
Are you swinging this turn?
Yeah, I think you swing. We're just likely to draw into weapons by 5. We have three swings.
I don't know if it's correct to swing. It's close. Because you will always have the time to get the weapon charges out.
I mean, it doesn't seem worth it now when they hit.
No, we never use a ruse like this.
We have Ronald. Yeah, I like the Arcane Intellect too.
It should be a...
Yeah, we play like 2 4-drops that we would love to get closer to.
Yeah. Or just find answers.
Like when you have Reno in hand, it's just about removing their threats so that they don't get like a huge board.
Alright, so yeah, good thing we used the charge. Use the charge again, I would say.
The pirate's code.
This turn it attacked immediately without like even thinking about it. Do you think they drew a weapon?
I mean, they could have.
Was it just that or was it just that they committed to attacking with the first attack?
I mean, that's 4 mana. It doesn't really matter, I think.
I wonder.
I mean, we're never playing Ooze anyways.
First thing that comes to mind to me is to just fireball the Southsea Captain.
What to do? What to do?
I mean, I don't hate Fireball. I don't hate Volcanic Potion, Babbling Book.
Someone's out on me.
Then we're committing to pinging next turn, and they're really long to commit to that.
I don't hate Fireball. I don't think there's so much better Fireball targets. So.
No.
Well, they're a little bit quiet, but at least they're agreeing on plays here on line side.
Yeah, a little bit more narrow in their options available, I'd say. And that pickup for Core Chron Elite for Tempo Storm, really strong. You heard VLPS trying to find the positives in every single situation. That Doomsayer set them back quite a bit. But it's after seeing the attack, they draw the weapon. He goes, great. It's a good thing we attacked.
Good thing. Orange made the read.
Yeah, you heard him make the read also. He thought about attacking. Do you think they drew a weapon?
Interesting.
That's spicy.
Spicy.
I'm curious if Alliance is deliberating between the Volcanic Potion and Hero Power here or the Frostbolt and Babbling Book. Where you definitely want the information from Babbling Book, but with Reno Jackson in hand, I think the major thing here is to not get too greedy with your resources. If they end up taking slower turns, it means that the Frostbolt gets more immediate value, but it's a little bit weaker. With the Volcanic Potion, how much value is it really offering you? And now if they see another Kor'kron Elite, they have an answer with the Frostbolt directly. Doesn't require their whole turn.
Yep. Also, they have the added benefit of potentially being able to freeze the phase, you know, should they need to buy like an additional turn to see one more draw in the game. But Tempo Storm building up a little bit of a board, which makes things slightly awkward because Alliance has to remove about healing and dealing with the board, which makes it a little bit awkward. You don't really want to have too much of a board while you're during the turn you play Reno Jackson, because your opponent can get in like a lot of return damage. But let's listen into Alliance and see their thought process with Reno Jackson available.
That's not enough.
Yeah, not with 2 cards. There's no way.
But then we play the Ooze instead of... Then we play the Babbling Book instead of...
Reno's not
No.
here.
No. But do we Babbling Book or do we ping? Yeah.
Of course. Like, even if they have Reaper, they're gonna go face before we Reno anyway, so...
Yeah.
Fine.
Damn,
Yeah,
those.
that kind of sucks. We definitely hold.
We're not playing our Reno. I think we just play the Leroy this turn and try to set up
Yeah,
for
I think we
next
play
turn.
Leroy this turn. If we draw a weapon, we can charge with the South Sea deckhand as well. I think you get all 7 in.
We're gonna be rich. I choose death.
That concede is appropriate. Reno Jackson hits the board, and the major power of the full heal is too much for a squashed warrior to deal with.
Yeah, those Pirate Warrior games versus Reno Mage, they're pretty much over by turn 6.
One way or the other.
One way or the other, yeah. Sometimes you could beat them post Reno if you make like a huge board and they can't deal with it, and then they play Reno, you just hit them for 20. But, you know, those situations aren't as likely. I think Tempo Storm kind of knew there was 2 card keeps from Reno Mage, and you pretty much know when the Reno Mage keeps 2 cards that they probably have Reno.
It's pretty bad news. I mean, it could very easily be Frostbolt, Volcanic Potion. It could be Mistress and Mixtures Frostbolt. There's definitely some early game cards. Ooze, of course, also in the keep range. But if Reno Jackson is there and you cannot have 14 damage post Reno on board, you're pretty sunk.
Yeah, but we're going to see if Tempo Storm can bounce back after that loss. We're going to go to a very quick break. But don't go anywhere, guys. More Hearthstone Trinity Series right after this.
Who's that pro?
It's like unbelievably strong. Like unbelievably strong. Insane.
It's Life Coach.
It's like unbelievably strong. Like unbelievably strong. Insane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series. It's unbelievably strong. It's insane. I'm TJ, joined by That's Admirable, and we're about to jump into game number 3 of the match between Alliance and Tempo Storm. I would have never guessed that was Life Coach. My guess was Chalky.
It definitely didn't sound like Life Coach. It definitely did sound a lot like Chalky.
Shame.
That's the opposite.
Tempo Storm, with the loss of Pirate Warrior, now it's off the table. So they don't really have sort of that, super strong aggro deck to try and encounter some of these, maybe a greedy control deck here. So now moving into the next game, Alliance once again going to be on Reno Mage, so it's up to Tempo Storm to find out the deck that's going to counter it. Probably Druid.
Probably.
100 or
probably
99.5% Druid. I was as sure that they were going to queue Druid as I was that was Chalky in that Who's That Pro.
Well, you're 50-50 so far. It's very true Hearthstone nature.
Yes, indeed.
Happens or it doesn't. Curious how Tempo Storm wants to approach the matchup. Of course, Jade Idol does a great job of ramping the rest of your Jade golems. But this matchup comes down to oftentimes the amount of card draw that Tempo Storm can put together. Like, if they don't have any card draw, it's certainly a way they could lose the game. But for Alliance's side, they don't have the option to really pressure down their opponent that well. And so how does the Reno Mage really win this game? It occasionally steals 1 or 2 here and there, but for the most part, this is like the old Freeze Mage versus Control Warrior style percentages.
You really have to pressure early or play a really weird attrition game where you sort of cheese in a win at the end.
Like with Alex Straza?
Yeah, something along those lines. But it is definitely tough. Tempo Storm keeps the 2 Jade cards early on. They keep Jade Idol, they keep Jade Blossom. So they're going to get their Jades ramping up nicely with Jade Blossom. They're going to be able to ramp their mana a bit too.
Ooh, Water Elemental is a nice pickup. 3/6 body that freezes. I mean, that can add some pressure. But the thing about it is, like, how does the rest of their hand operate with the Water Elemental? I could totally see this game going in a Kazakus direction, where perhaps rezzing the Water Elemental for a 1-cost potion could be a real thing, but they do not have time on their side. The longer the game goes, the more favored Tempo Storm tends to be.
Yeah, effectively, Kazakus in this matchup, since you can't really play the attrition game too well, you usually want to go for a tempo Kazakus potion. Like, summon a 5/5 demon, res a friendly minion at the start of the game if you've had a good minion die, or, deal 5 damage, summon a 5/5 demon. You want to try and build up a board and keep applying pressure. Because that's one thing that the Druid does struggle with, is removing, early stuff. So if you can get a bunch of early stuff out, that's tough to remove. Sometimes you can stick in some of those wins with Tempo Mage, or sorry, with Reno Mage, but it's still tough.
Once upon a time, in the Druid's position here, if you were playing against a grindy deck, Minion would often be a reasonable choice for the Raven Idol because you just needed big stuff to do at the end game. But now, with all the Jade cards, you have plenty of big stuff. You're really just looking for more gas. Did they choose? Okay, it looked like they chose Minion for a second. And not spectacular pickups either. Swipe is probably the take here simply because it offers the most flexibility of these 3 cards.
Yeah, Mark of Nature probably not going to find use, and Healing Touch maybe, but it's, again, like you said, not very flexible. So let's listen in to Alliance as we get closer to their turn to see what they're thinking about as a plan.
Okay. Question is,
I mean, it's a below average res, and the hero power shouldn't be very relevant. Like, that's whatever.
No, that
if you place ramp, then
you kept 1 card, so.
But we have it in the graveyard then.
Yeah, which means that we could potentially miss a Water Elemental from the summon to friendly minions. But
if both minions die by turn 5, which is not that likely.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like quite unlikely that a Water Elemental dies, actually. I think we just want to run it out. Getting Blood Mage Tunnel is back. It's like another card, right? So.
I mean, I would say it's a bad res, but I think we just want to cycle from our options.
Yeah.
We're not going to get it out of our hand with this hand.
Runs out on me.
We hunger for vengeance.
safer.
Agreed. Yeah, I've won with the Pyroblast list when they don't have more than one Feral Rage pretty often. I mean, not often, but like, it's the only way you win, right?
I mean, Feral Rage is much better than Healing Touch. So
yeah, but to have both is just drop.
Water Elemental seems fine here, right? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I would still go for Coin Water Elemental.
What to do?
I mean, it's decent against Azure Drake. Actually, no, it's not gonna ping.
Nourish is...
Nourish
is also a card they would pick from Raven Idol, so...
Yeah, I like Water.
Time runs out on me.
So it's an argument that we might have to take risks, like that they don't have Nourish here if we want to win the matchup. But
I mean, I think it's just better with Water Element. I mean, what do you get punished by?
So interesting for Alliance's communication. Osaka kind of, even though he's the pilot of the deck, he kind of just sits there, listens to them talk, and then at the very end makes the play.
Yeah, I've spoken with Osaka about how he plays the game, and he tries to think through every single circumstance, every single turn. And I'm curious how much that's really helping, because there's not much communication going on from Osaka. That's not to say that that's a bad thing, but I think I'd like to hear him verbalize what's going through his head more. Maybe a little bit of trouble there. Where Tempo Storm, they continue to debate on past tense things, where they took this healing touch and you heard them still talking about it.
Yeah.
Debating what the pick was.
It's really interesting. I don't know if there was some argument going on there with the pick. It is a bit of a weird pick, healing touch, as we mentioned, not very flexible. Even they were mentioning, you know, Feral Rage is a better card, even though that wasn't one of the choices. Maybe some of them were wanting to pick the swipe, some wanted to pick the healing touch, and ultimately they decided on the healing touch.
Kazakus.
Summon a 5/5 demon.
You know, +4 health is certainly an interesting one, though, because if you nail the health and res, you end up in a great spot. They go with 5/5 demon and now offered, once again, potential for flexibility here. Do you want that 5/5 to be bigger? Do you want to draw cards? The 4 damage in this matchup, pretty irrelevant.
Irrelevant once you get past a certain phase. Right now it might be good, but usually they're not really playing much more than, you know, one thing a turn, you know. If you go into a Jade Behemoth turn, you really don't want to be too reactive.
Yeah, it looks like the +4 health on that. And Tempo Storm's turns are awfully weak. They are missing some significant card draw, some Jade stuff. You know, it's one of those things about the Jade Idol is if you keep it, yes, the rest of your Jade cards are big, but this matchup oftentimes boils down to whether or not you get to draw cards. That's one of the ways you lose, is not drawing card draw effects.
Yeah, just not making your Jades, not getting those ramp effects.
Yeah. I still personally think I keep it, but not necessarily happy about it. Let's hear how Alliance wants to use their newfound potion.
but we would play the Cabal Courier to go with it too as well. Right.
What to do?
Yeah.
What to do?
Like, the only problem is, I mean, we're never playing Kazaku's potion. It feels weird to fireball this. It seems like a good Doomsayer turn, right?
Yeah, I think so. But we should start off with Cabal Courier if that's what we decide to go with.
Yeah. We can
Corruption. We have Corruption, Circle of Healing, Cult Sorcerer, the 3/2 spell power. Corruption's not that bad.
Take Corruption.
Do we still Doomsayer? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's... Circle of Healing doesn't do anything.
No.
Spell power is okay, but I think Corruption could be potentially better.
Been interesting. I think if they picked a 10 mana then if they didn't pay 5 mana right now.
Yeah.
So sheep everything or something.
I also wonder if they even got Resurrect to just throw this Doomsayer out here.
Maybe they got something like the 4 damage to everything.
Maybe they got like polymorph and say leave for like 10 mana, and they're trying to win like the slow value game, but it's like just not gonna happen. I don't think. I mean, I'm happy with it. I think if they went 5 there for Resurrect 2, it would have been pretty strong.
Okay, now we
Emperor's pretty good here, but we have the mulch.
Now we can play around 50 different alchemist potion outcomes.
What to do? What to do?
Firelands Portalite can just like to take it slow with Acolyte.
They just want it board. I mean, we always do this no matter what.
Oh wow, Corruption Frost now is really good together.
I mean, I don't think our Kazakh's potion is gonna get much better than this. Like a 5-9 against Druid is pretty sick.
Yeah, this goes what we want to do in this matchup.
And we have Polymorph, and we know like their Jades are small, and we know they don't have Nourish, so like putting on pressure seems like
Was it Tempo Storm that
what do you think about the hand reads? Like we know they don't have Nourish. Like what else? Like the Tempo brand is kind of weird.
The Tempo brand is
Have a chance at them maybe wanting to remove it over playing Antonidas naked.
But if you don't mulch this, how do we kill this, right?
I'm saying we mulch it, but we also develop like the Fandral as well, just so he doesn't drop the naked Antonidas on his 7. And then from there we can start developing the Jade mechanics to have a strong board. So I kind of like mulch. I kind of like mulch Fandral here. I feel like if we just go mulch pass, he just drops the naked Antonidas.
Time waits for no one.
Communication for both these teams maybe not as good as some of the other teams we've seen. Tempo Storm feels like they can't really agree, like unanimously agree on a play, unless it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, their hand's very limited in options, so it's hard to come up with a strong set. Oh my lord.
That is brutal.
Yeah, well, just ignore the analysis for now. That is some good.
Just soak it in. All right, no more soaking. Gadgetzan Auctioneer with the Innervate, though, could be good. It's coming turns where they pick up some cheap spells. They might be able to get a really good, strong turn going. But, as we mentioned, Reno Mage wins by putting on pressure, and this hand is pretty good. They also pick up just a 7/6, the Scaram Cultist?
Scaram Cultist, yeah. They have Alex Strauss as the big one here. So the Alex Strauss draw is basically Jhin. Alliance is poised to now steal the game from a poor matchup. Tempo Storm, very poor pan out for them, and Alliance almost perfect at this point. How do they set up Alex Strauss the best? That's the question.
Scaram Cultist.
It's not bad, honestly.
Hit him with the old 7/6. The often forgotten Cthulhu minion.
I remember when I played Cthulhu Control Warrior.
Back in my day.
Everyone else was also playing Cthulhu Control Warrior, and I didn't know how to get the edge in the matchup, so I added in Scaram Cultist. And that bad boy needs to be shield slammed, and that opens up a window of opportunity when you're in that weird minion battle.
I actually remember you telling me this story live when it was happening.
I think I do remember that, actually, yeah.
Look at it. In all of its glory.
7/6.
Yeah.
So hero power onto the 3/3 makes sense here too. I mean, this honestly somewhat telegraphs Alex Strauss. Second mulch gets picked up, and unless this auctioneer can pull some heat here, it's about lights out. Let's listen to Tempo Storm to see what they're thinking.
Wait. You have to kill the Earth, even though the other one is bigger. No, you have to kill the other one, right? The 7/6. Does it make a difference? It's just
Yes.
Yeah, you have to kill it.
Nice.
Wait, are you so what are you thinking? Shuffle? Is it still better to shuffle?
Yeah, we have an auctioneer in the hand, so it has to be shuffle.
Okay. I just want to think about it, not just instantly raise that.
Violent Roots.
Oh, Naturalize would be sick. Interesting. Wait. Do you hide?
I think the Innervate's right. Yeah, the Innervate's right. Nice. Good job, Sam.
Big hold onto this one.
No, I don't.
No, use it.
No, I don't.
Even though we have second auctioneer in hand. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I needed to draw an idol there to do something, so had to be done.
The only scary thing is like that was a really good turn for us. That was really, really good. But yeah, we just want to start now getting the board state.
That was a pretty good pickup, right? Because we can go Princess
6/5, and then we Fireball or Arcane Blast Ping.
Yeah, Arcane Blast Ping seems pretty good.
I think I also like the Arcane Blast Ping, considering we have Alexstrasza. With double Mulch, double Raven Idol, do you think they play double Feral Rage?
Maybe. I mean, who knows? They probably don't play Wars.
They probably can't fit it, but they can also cut Living Roots.
Yeah, they probably cut Roots.
Oh, yeah.
What to do?
I would tend to go with the... Oh, is it unreasonable? Is it unreasonable to go with Polymorph?
I mean,
I think it's a
Aya seems...
Makes sense.
I mean, it just like it's a 1/4. Do we really care about a 1/4?
Flag. It's just the biggest minion in hand.
They have Alex in the hand, but they just want to push the 6, I think.
Come on, give me those idols. Give me those idols. Fine turn, actually. Save the excess mana, right? Yeah, good. Yeah.
Just saying, just did that turn all by himself.
Yeah, well, it's fairly obvious from the standpoint. I mean, their hand has to nourish. He made the read on Alexstrasza. They've got to find a way to get control.
Yeah. He's a strong, independent Hearthstone player that don't need no team.
Well, he's going to need something because that Alexstrasza just dealt a heap of damage. Effectively 21 damage coming in this turn.
Yeah.
That's heaps. That is boatloads. And this isn't even a pirate deck, and it's boatloads.
Boats aren't exclusive to pirates, Admirable.
It's true. It's very true.
I know what they've been teaching in school nowadays, but it's not.
Yeah. Take out the Alex, leave the Huhuran at 1 health, and live to fight another day, hopefully, for them.
That's game. Polymorph Fireball. Call it a day.
Yep. Alliance
the Reno Mage takes it.
Steals a game away from Jade Druid. This is a rare sight, but the key things that happened were the lack of card draw for Tempo Storm early on to unleash those powerful turns, and then the presence of Alexstrasza for Alliance delivering massive burst damage.
Yeah, and, you know, celebratory banana.
Stan Sifka style.
Got to get that potassium. Stay hydrated, folks. Message from PSA from the Trinity Series. But yeah, that's a huge win for Alliance. Not only do they win that unfavorable matchup, but they also take the lead for the first time. No, they took the lead. They won game 1. Yeah, I think they won game 1 last week, but that was the only time they've ever had a lead in the Trinity Series. So big win for them. They'll stay on the Reno Mage, and Reno Mage can go unchecked for a while. We've seen that Jade Druid has just been trouncing all over it. Jade Druid, I don't think, has lost a game against Reno Mage thus far in the Trinity Series throughout the first 2 weeks, so that's a huge one.
Yeah, my fear is how they fight back. It's looking like it's either going to be a mirror match or the Anyfid Paladin from Gara. But the problem with the Paladin deck is the presence of Ice Block. Mm-hmm. If you do not get a very strong turn with that, it could spell a lot of trouble. And the fact that they didn't use... I'm sorry. No, I was going to say the fact they didn't use Paladin may mean it's not Anyfid Paladin, but Druid is obviously a much stronger matchup versus the Mage. So that would make sense. Losing with the Druid, though, I mean, this build is meant to counter like 2 specific builds. Mm-hmm. When it doesn't pick up a win, I feel like Tempo Storm could be far behind.
Yeah. The other thing about the Reno Mage against Paladin is they also have Polymorph that they can eliminate one of the Murlocs. They can get a Kazakus Potion, maybe even 2 if they use it with a Bran, or Manic Soulcaster potentially if they have that in the build, to polymorph multiple things. So you can eliminate an entire board of Murlocs. I mean, we saw a Reno Mage last week. I can't remember. I think it was in Cloud9 matchup or something where they basically just said, we're going to take all the polymorph effects that we can, and we're going to leave you with not enough Murlocs to win the game. That's exactly what they did.
That's definitely a win condition, but there's a lot of pressure that can come out from the Anyfin deck when it starts hitting the turn 10 mark, where you need multiple options to fend off the board position. We heard when Alliance was playing that exact matchup last week, they wanted to have a Frost Nova and a Reno Jackson in the same turn, and then to AoE the board, and that would give them not only the extra turn because the Murlocs were frozen rather than destroyed, the second Anyfin wasn't as powerful, and they had one more turn to proactively set up versus the Anyfin can happen. So it's very difficult to have all those resources available to you.
And that's something that they learned in week number 1. Like, these matchups are sometimes so rare that you don't play in ladders or in other tournaments that you learn small tricks like that. That you heard them say, hey, didn't we learn last week that keeping the Frost Nova is good for the Reno Jackson turn?
Right. Like in tournaments right now, it's typically a 3 or a 4 deck format, and Anyfin Paladin doesn't make the cut in most of those lineups. As a result of that, there's no reason to practice that matchup. So it's tough to get to that point. It sounds like we're ready to get into game number 4, though. Let's listen to Tempo Storm as they walk through their opening hand.
Do we keep the operative or do we toss it all?
You keep operative and pain.
Is the pain worth it?
Even the Tyrant Priest is, yes, you only run one, and they run Water Elemental. Of course, you keep the pain. And of course, you keep the operative. It's the best card in the matchup. You always have to keep a dragon. The only question is if you also keep the Talon Priest.
I don't think you keep Talon Priest.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, because you have 2 technicians. It makes sense to not keep it.
Yeah.
Water Elemental.
Just to keep it on.
Yeah, I would keep it all.
Like, we win fatigue as well, if it comes down to this. Yeah.
I mean, if he's playing probably the burnless, right? He's running Alex, maybe some other stuff.
But he will have to use a lot of burn. You can't not kill the minions from Priest.
It's just your power. The consideration next turn is pointing out party. We'll play it.
Yeah. And if he doesn't have the fire.
Operative, you keep.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of cards you keep. Yeah, we just draw here.
Yeah. I mean, they keep paying.
Well, a little bit of interesting mulligans. We didn't really talk about Priest when we were talking about the matchups, but Priest also has a pretty good matchup against the Reno Mage, so luckily Tempo Storm had that in their arsenal.
I practiced this matchup a bit with, I really wish I could remember who, I honestly can't remember this. It was so busy. And
wasn't me.
They were telling me that they think that Priest has a very similar win rate against Reno Mage that Druid does, but that it boiled down to some really key Bran turns, and then also whether or not you played Ragnaros. Well, we can see Bran and Ragnaros in Tempo Storm's hand, and one of the reasons why it's so strong is the resources from Alliance match up really well versus the turns that Tempo Storm will have, but eventually it gets to a point where Tempo Storm just continues to overwhelm those resources. Constant high health minions are a big problem for Mage.
Yeah, Draconid Operative also allows you to just sort of pluck some nice little juicy spells out of the Mage deck and use those for yourself. So definitely that overwhelming, threats that the Priest has to offer can
runs out on me.
Win against the Mage.
Yeah. For Alliance, their Mage, it has a lot of damage per mana with their cards. But
DPM.
Yes, very, very strong DPM, but not enough of them to really stave it off in the long term. And the card draw thing is really a big important thing here too, where Alliance chose to use Arcane Intellect on turn 3, and sometimes this matchup can get grindy and boil down to fatigue. That's a possibility as well.
What's the highest DPM spell in the game?
Something that does more damage than mana cost. Probably Lightning Bolt. 1 mana, 3 damage.
Ysera Awakens.
2 mana, 5 damage. That's less than... Oh, if you count the minions, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it deals damage to both players, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I must consider...
I'm an expert on DPM. Ask me any DPM question, I'll know it.
Studied DPM in school.
DPMonomics.
I'm glad you found the right term for it.
Yeah. Shadowward Pain coming in handy. 3/6, one of the best targets for that.
And one of the only targets in Alliance deck really that's worthwhile as well. Water Elemental providing, of course, the secondary effect of the freeze can buy them some time. Alliance, though, their hand is still pretty strong. They have the tools, I think, to buy themselves the necessary time, but they got to find a way to close as well.
Yeah, which is going to be the tough part. It's usually the tough part with Reno Mage is finding a way to actually, turn the corner. Go from, I'm removing your minions to, I'm winning the game.
Yeah. Like, the other thing that Alliance needs to worry about, too, is the potential for Bookworm coming out of Tempo Storm's build. If Bookworm is there, the Kazakus Res potion won't look quite as strong. I think one of the big potions they could get is a Res plus the extra health to combat the way that Tempo Storm wants to play, and then sweep up the board in one combat with an AoE spell. But that requires a favorable pan out from Kazakus, as well as no more Shadowward Pains and Bookworms and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, they're running out of time for Kazakus now, so it looks like that's not going to be an option. So maybe looking at a polymorph?
Yeah, I mean, you could see Okaka, the way he was reacting to this. Let's listen to Tempo Storm to see what they think of this turn.
Nice. Sweet Drake, then.
Yeah, I like Drake.
You guys like the Drake?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing that really contests the Emperor, besides just playing the Draconoid.
And I can see him just doing some fancy removal, like Crossbow.
Kind of like going Cabal Bronzebeard next turn. It just, the Bronzebeard never dies, and then we just go off with the value.
Yeah, that's the whole plan. The whole thing is, like, we want to set up a board that allows us to do that, and the Drake is the only thing with 4 attack that deals with the Emperor, so it makes sense.
I guess we could go ping Refreshment Vendor.
What to do? What to do?
Yeah, I don't really have anything better in mind.
We always want to go Bran Kazakus next turn, right?
Not necessarily. Fireland's Portal is a solid option as well.
We also had Soulcaster in deck.
True.
Yeah, it's vendor ping.
Yeah, I like it.
Funnel cakes! Get your funnel cakes here!
Now if he has Fireball Ping, he could kill the, go with the Bronzebeard Cabal plan. I still like it. It spends his entire turn.
I think he wants to portal the Drake next turn.
I wonder.
If he goes portal next turn and we go Bran Cabal, we can double. We can go Corruptor next turn.
Yeah, the only way the Bronzebeard dies next turn is if he has Fireball in hand. But then he spends his entire turn going Fireball Ping, and then have a 4/4, a 3/4.
Even if the Bran dies next turn, we should be fine.
Yeah.
If he goes, I expect him to portal next turn. If you have Bran out already, we can go Corruptor, we can heal the Bran. We can remove the guy with the Talon Priest plus Bran, trade plus heal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, should be the best.
It's just think about it. We spend 6 mana, we play a 2/10 and a 3/4. It's just incredible. Like, no matter what, it's just an insanely powerful turn.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful to me.
Definitely is. And something that I think Gara is really getting at here is if Alliance has to Fireball in their turn, it takes almost their entire turn. And especially if they have to ping alongside it. So if you take your opponent's entire turn, you're probably still fine. Ragnaros is in hand. You have a lot of strong stats in hand as well. All you have to do is keep Alliance on the back foot. Whereas Alliance, the communication just really isn't there.
Yeah, they're just not really talking. Or not very much.
It feels to me like it's a mutual understanding of how their turns are expected to go. And they're trying to find alternatives. But very little distinct communication coming out from them. To me, it's starting to sound more like understanding that they're in a poor spot than it is lack of real communication.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, looks like Tempo Storm is going to go with Draconid Operative right off the bat here. Oh! Hit him with the Dirty Rat.
Well, Dirty Rat is definitely an interesting find because it tends to be strong versus Reno Mage. However, Tempo Storm's deck is not really built to take advantage of that card. So I'm curious if Cabal Courier simply for value is the pick here, because the creation of extra cards is a big benefit for Tempo Storm. It means that they're not drawing as much, and if it comes to a fatigue scenario, they're just not quite there. And so just continue to buy value, and I imagine they're going to likely forego actual card draw rather than card creation for most of the rest of the game.
Well, Brand Kazakis is an option here. If they decide on that, they're going to have to go quick, because they're going to have 2 potions to deliberate on here. They are under a lot of pressure, so that might be one thing that they're keeping in their minds is, hey, if we go, Brand Kazakis here, we're staring at 12 damage. Are we going to be able to stabilize with the potions that we're given?
Problem with an Emperor turn is they haven't seen anything to indicate Tempo Storm doesn't have a Shadow Word Death in hand. So that's a very easily answered card. And moving into Tempo Storm's turn 8, it means they can couple a 5-cost card with it. So there's a lot of negatives that come out of Emperor Thaurissan here. But the Brand Kazakis, I mean, you're staring down 12 damage right now. You have no Reno in hand and no way to clear the board. This might just be too far behind.
And they're running out of time now. So the longer that clock ticks away, the less time they have to deliberate over these potions. As soon as that robe comes, you don't have time for Kazakis, no mo. So
unless they knew what potions they wanted exactly.
And they could predict what order they would be in. Let's go and listen into Tempo Storm and see what they're thinking about after they see this Emperor hit the board.
He doesn't play around red, he plays Ooze, hold the Ooze. Oh, that's sick tempo. But we probably wanna, because now, wait, he reduced Antonidas, he could go Antonidas Nova. I think we should save the death.
Yeah, obviously we saved the death there.
Yeah. But the question is, do we go Rag or do we heal our...
I think we go Rag and just trade the 3/3 away, play around my control tech.
No. I think we push 7 and then play operative. Crusher and heal our operative and ignore the 3/2.
Okay, actually I like that a lot. And just if he has my control tech, he has it. But it's like, I like that actually.
We have the def and we have Rag.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot as well. Does Flame Strike do anything now? If Flame Strike doesn't clear the 9/9.
9/9 is so powerful.
Sam, what do you think?
And he has to trade the 3/2.
You don't even worry about FS now, right?
I think just do it.
Sam, you like that?
Yeah, sure.
Push the 7.
I'm always scared of this Emperor because of Alex. I think Rag
it is scary.
But we're setting up. He can't go Alex, right? He dies if he goes.
Yeah, he can't Alex. He can't Alex block. So
that speaks also for this play.
You get Frostbolt and go Alex, and then
he dies to Corruptor, right? 7 + 5. Yeah, he's dead to Corruptor.
Okay.
He used the Fireball. I'm not scared. Fireball, like if he would have not used any burn, then it's scary. But as soon as he breaks the burn, it's like whatever.
There's still Frostbolt, Icelands, Pyroblast. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
First?
Yeah, 1/5 first.
We don't have it's a 10. It's a 10, but we play Brand either way. It's book. It's book first.
Book.
But then they can proc us 100%.
Okay. Nice. I would probably go. Yeah. Oh my god, we don't have time. You just pick.
Just pick whatever. We trust you. And you have to trade
polymorph 4. No.
Are we supposed
to? No, you're not supposed to polymorph.
If you polymorph 4, if you polymorph 4 Arcane Blast, he has 7 power on board.
Yeah, okay, that was 7. Better play.
Yeah, it was definitely better.
With 1 card of operative, what's the chance of us dying?
I mean, we're dead on board.
It's the play to win the game. Like now, what's those are potions to?
I don't fucking know.
3/3.
Yes.
I don't think that's getting traded into anything.
Wait. How do we kill the 3/3? He's 3/3.
We don't care about his 3/3. We care about his Bronzebeard, and that's about it.
Oh, so he doesn't play Soulcaster?
I mean, if he goes Soulcaster, it's like...
Yeah, Soulcaster is never an option here.
We also have Corruptor and like Twilight Guardian if we want to play around like the Polymorph Potion this turn, and then we have like strong follow-ups with Rag and second Draconoid Crusher. Like maybe we don't want to go all in here into like the Polymorph Potion. I think we push the 3-phase.
Yeah. 3-3-9-9-3-3. Blackman Crafter face. Last, right? Oh, you're not playing the other drop. What are you doing?
So do you want to go?
Powered Shield and heal.
Okay.
The 5-4, right? It's just better than spell power.
Yeah.
Both teams struggling with some communication issues here. This is kind of getting a little bit rough to watch at the end of some of these turns.
For Tempo Storm, it's just about playing around everything and maybe deliberating a little bit too much over stuff. Whereas Alliance, it's like they're crumbling at the seams. What are the potions? I don't know.
What are the potions?
How often has someone asked you what your card does, and you've said, I don't know?
He kind of just panicked and picked. They didn't have much time left.
I don't know. I've never heard that from a player in a situation like this.
Hammer, what do your potions do?
Well, if I don't have them yet, so I don't know, but I can tell you the outcome. So number 1 is... Number 98 is... They're in bad shape now. I don't think Alliance wins this game. Someone in 8-8, so they are now hoping to fade a 50-50 from the Ragnaros that will come down. Of course, they don't know Tempo Storm has Ragnaros in hand, but doesn't really get much better than this.
Oh, they might.
This is for information, simply, and it's order of operations here. The Ragnaros is 100% coming down this turn.
Bookworm the face. All right, let's see. Let's listen to Tempo Storm and see how spirits are with this rag.
Next turn. If he renos, we just Alex offensively, I think.
The second potion is what is the problem right now. If he goes potion, we definitely go Crusher before he heals, because we have the Alex in our hand. We can set up Lethal with just a Crusher on board and something else.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, do we want to use the Arcane Blast on a 4-2 when we're at 30?
I mean, it's a 4-2 either way. We don't have any AoE or anything.
Yeah, I mean, how do they clear the Reno if we don't leave a 4-2 up?
Okay, sure. Preserving Reno.
The only thing I would save it for was Antonidas, but like I don't like a 4-2 is a 4-2. It's 4 damage either way.
Yeah, I think
when we don't have AoE, we kill it.
I like it.
We're gonna be rich.
Alex.
I think we just Alex next turn, right? Just to have Draconoid activation to follow up.
What
also deal with the 88.
Wait, because we don't need to Alex, we can always push, you know. Can we set up 15 power on board? I don't see it.
Yeah. We also want to make him like keep spending his turns removing, so like he has to remove the Alex, he's not developing at all, and then we can go like Draconoid, Twilight Guardian.
I don't like the Alex at all. I think it's bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't like it. The only thing that speaks for Alex is it's 8-8.
It's also to get Draconoid activation. Like our Draconoid's kind of something we don't want to play until it's in
Do you like the red here?
Generally better.
What if you pull his Alex? I think that would be game winning, right? We can def it.
You can rat.
Yeah, we can rat whatever comes out. I mean, unless it's something like, what's the worst outcome?
Best outcome, we can get the Doomsayer, Alex. Go red and see what happens. Acolyte, that's pretty awful.
Twilight Guardian, Cabal.
Worse. Okay. Guardian and Power Priest, maybe.
Yeah, go first. Don't miss the 1 damage phase, even though it's irrelevant. He doesn't know that it's irrelevant.
I don't know. I think I might have liked the Alex, but I don't know.
Nah, the thing is, he doesn't know we have the Alex, and you don't really push damage. You can set up lethals.
It's just
it's sick to hold the Alex. Yeah, for the Crusher. Yeah, that speaks definitely for Alex.
Our Crusher's dead now. But yeah, it's fine, I guess. I mean, he's used a lot of removal already. Still has another potion, though.
Alex is much stronger behind this board, right? Behold all this trash.
It's getting pretty chaotic in the Temple Storm camp here.
Yeah, Gara really finding the right way to win, though. He's absolutely right when he says they don't know that we have Alex, and we don't really push damage that well. If we get 15 on board, Alex is a kill. He's really leading the team at the moment. And on Alliance's side, there was like this moment of calm and clarity that happened when they drew the Jhin card. They drew Reno Jackson, healed to full, and suddenly they're back in the game. I mean, they've almost turned the corner at this point.
Yeah, they got Acolyte of Pain pulled out, so they're going to be able to pick up some more cards. They just have to stabilize on the board. Summon 3 friendly minions that have died this game and gain 10 armor. We'll see what they summon at 8-8. Emperor Thor Sid.
Oh my goodness. That is huge. Yeah, no attack with the Reno either, and wisely so. They are starting to put together a very dangerous board. Frost Nova in hand. The Flamelands as well. Tempo Storm has got their work cut out for them because suddenly the board is massive.
Yeah. Now this Spread Historian might be able to pick up something good here. Chill Maw, Draconid Operative Bookworm. It's almost always Draconid Operative here. And
no valuable targets for Bookworm at the moment. Draconid Operative sets up the Shadow Word Death. They get a little bit more information and an extra card. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. Information at this stage may not necessarily matter too much because Reno's gone, Kazakus is gone, but it might give them information on the deck. So there they see Manic Soulcaster.
And they know that Blizzard's not in hand. Well, the Blood Mage not being in hand is not really that much. I mean, they could have assumed that anyway. But seeing Manic Soulcaster, maybe they can chip away a priority minion if the time comes, and then the Blizzard not being there means that maybe their board's not getting frozen. So let's listen into Alliance and see what they're thinking after this turn from Tempo Storm.
Alex or Antonidas, I guess.
We still have all of our AoEs, right?
Yeah. Like, do we ever do that? Dirty Rat, like Frost Nova Doomsayer? I mean, I guess the board is too weak for Frost Nova Doomsayer. Like, we can just attack in with Reno and Ping, and then he only has a 5, 6, and 2, 1
if they play Crusher, I think they don't play Bookworm, but they have one more pain.
Don't know why they could have get Bookworm if they pick it from Historian, but...
I mean, I don't hate playing Dirty Rat here, just to get something out of their hand. Like, if they could pick Alex, and that would be good.
What about Ink Master, Flamelands, the Draconid Operative, and Ping the...
Yeah, that's the other...
I like it more. I think the Dirty Rat's a little bit risky.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I want to save it. I want to save it until we drop this third or
What is it risky against?
They played Historian.
Like Ink Master, Flamelands.
We can actually lose.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with both plays. So. Like, the only thing I'm worried about is like if they have like a super big game, we kind of won't play games.
Yeah. If we had one more ping, we could go Firelands ping, but...
From Babbling Book.
Oh, so many good cards from Babbling Book, too. Okay.
We ever just develop a 6/6?
No, I don't think so. It's just so strong because you can't remove it, right? If it doesn't parablast it.
But it's like if we go Warmer Stages here and he has Flame Strike, we lose, I think.
Yeah, what
I guess we need Dragon Fire Potion.
I think we have to Alex here, right? Are you thinking to save the Alex?
Alex is us next turn and pushes 9, we lose.
Yeah, but okay. If you play small stuff, we lose to Flame Strike. If you play Alex and he goes Alex,
I actually don't think he has Flame Strike. I think he would have Flame Strike there. Like, Ink Master Flame Strike would have been pretty insane there. So what do you guys think about, like, Manic Soulcaster and, like, the 2-drops?
Quick. No. You just play the 2 Wormless Agents and the Crusher, and you trade the 1/2 into the Reno, and then you go face with the other guy.
Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me?
I mean, you're saying you're afraid of the Alex, so at least you have something to contest it a little bit.
Yeah. Like, now I can't just Alex and push 9.
I mean, Azure Drake, Firelands Portal is pretty good. They could have taken Flame Strike as well, right?
That could be what they're hovering over, but I think it's not even overextending into flame check if you have a 5-3 and a 4-4.
What to
Yeah.
do?
I mean, we would get the fire.
We get a fire drop too.
Yeah, we get the portal too.
But we have both Archmage and Alex Strasser left in our deck. They will not be able to answer every threat, even if they flame strike
Their hand
that.
size is pretty low.
Yeah, you see it. Ooh, that might change things. Now I'm like...
I mean, if we Frost Nova and then Flame Strike, I guess our 5-mana guy lives, but...
It'll always be good in this matchup, I think I like
I think the portal is too good not to play.
Like, the big thing is they have 0 pressure on board now. And we're winning in fatigue, so...
Then you have to Alex in, right?
So we can play a 4-4 and a 5-5. Or we Alex him. 4-4 contested board. We silence spell power. It's weaker to flame strike. Guess we Alex him.
I think Alex is better.
Yeah, should be better.
Hey.
I bring life.
Just to get Rat FS.
Start with Courier.
No, we don't have mana. I want to go 30 Rat and then maybe Flame Strike.
Oh, Flame Strike.
I think we Rat for sure and Flame Strike. I like it really.
I mean, if you don't kill anything, Flame Strike.
What to do?
I mean, it's kind of unlikely. I mean, they have 3 cards. Say they took a spell from us. They have quite a lot of spells. Well, actually, they have I guess they don't run Holy Nova in their deck. Or maybe they don't run... It's either they don't run Holy Nova or they don't run the one Cleric. That's the only way I can see they're running this deck.
Start with 30 Rat?
Yeah.
And probably sec the 5-3 if we have to sec one into Alex.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's nice.
Time runs out on me.
What a turnaround of this game, and it's been the same way with the emotions of the teams too. Tempo Storm, very excited early on. Alliance, distraught. Moment that Reno Jackson hit, Alliance, very excited. Tempo Storm, distraught. This is a very interesting game.
I mean, look at that turnaround from Alliance basically being in shambles. Ostkaka not even knowing pretty much what his Kazakus potions did to being able to put themselves in a winning position. Pretty incredible. Now you can just see the look on VLPS's face. This is very reminiscent of the look on his face as the last couple turns of that Paladin game from last week were coming to a close.
Yeah,
so
I mean, where did it fall apart? And you heard Ostkaka say it too. We're even ahead on fatigue. And this is without Archmage getting a big turn. This is without, a giant Ink Master super tempo play with a Flame Strike or something. They had almost none of their AoE early on. They just went 1 for 1, 1 for 1. Where did this game slip away from Tempo Storm? Was it the draw of Reno Jackson?
Or was it some of the decisions they made along the way? Who knows?
It's a combination of the two, maybe. It's little things make the biggest differences in Hearthstone. And while there's always certainly that potential for luck to take over,
or maybe it was neither, and this game was predetermined by Ben Brode 3 years ago.
It's the Doom switch. It's like, those giant levers that have the ball on the end? Mm-hmm. He just pulls that down, and it's got it's not like a straight stem. It's like one of those wonky ones that has the jagged back and forth. And there's a loop in there, like the funny straws.
Takes him 10 minutes to just pull the lever down. Well, Archmage Antennas comes down, no way to deal with it.
Yeah, and that needs to that card needs to do everything, whatever it is. None of those cards do everything.
And that's going to be game, and Alliance goes up 3-1, taking out 2 unfavored matchups with the Reno Mage. And this might be the turnaround to their season. And Ostkaka agrees with me because he left.
Yeah. He goes, well, if it's turning around, I got to get out of here. We have a reputation to uphold.
I was promised losses
here in the Trinity Series. They've put together more wins today than they did in the previous 2 weeks.
It's pretty impressive.
And it's game 4.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see if they can keep that streak alive. We're going to go to a quick break, guys, but don't go anywhere. The conclusion to this series, more Trinity Series, right after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series. Alliance currently has a 3-1 lead for the first time in 3 weeks. My name's TJ, joined by That's Admirable. And will they be able to close out the series? That's the big story here for Alliance.
Well, they're putting together a massive string of wins with Mage all of a sudden. If you pay attention to Twitter over the weekend, VLPS and Just Saying apparently met up at PAX to talk about strategy for this particular tournament. And so far, it's not panning out for them. But I will say the games so far for them have looked very unlucky. Their panouts have just been very poor. They've gotten into spots where they needed a wide range of draws to impact the game, and they're missing on some of those spots. That game in particular, I wonder if playing the brand too early maybe cost them something. They had a very strong tempo as a result of it, but they didn't quite have the value at the end of the game.
Yeah, and you could hear them debating. VLPS was like, well, the only thing that punishes is if they have Fireball in the hand, and they did have Fireball. So but we'll see if they can find a deck that counters it moving forward, as Alliance will still be on this Reno Mage. And now with two of the decks that counter Reno Mage the most, with the Druid and the Priest out of the way for Tempo Storm, what deck can they use that's going to defeat this? We've seen this in past weeks. We saw it with Alliance being on the other end with Murloc Paladin, where once they lost a few of those counter decks, they just didn't have a deck that could stand up against it. So now Tempo Storm's on the other side of that. Paladin, maybe? I don't even know.
I mean, it definitely is looking a little bit rough here. The fact that Alliance, week 1 they won 0 games, week 2 they won 2 games, this week they won 3 games. This is the form that you kind of expect Alliance to be in. And with the pickups on the Mage, it's just the moments have been so impactful. Like this bad sequences of draws, and then the major hitting draws from Alliance. The Reno Jacks have just been on point today for them. And
when the Reno Jackson is just right.
Wait, which hand is it?
It's mirrored here.
Yeah.
The camera's actually mirrored. I'm actually on the left side, and Admiral's on the right side. Just for the people out there that care. But we are moving into game number 5. Alliance again on the Reno Mage Tempo Storm. This time, it's going to be Gara piloting the Murloc Paladin deck. So last week, Tempo Storm decided to think outside the box a little bit and had VLPS piloting an aggro Paladin deck that just didn't look like it was refined. I don't know if it was tested enough against some of the matchups that they would needed it against, and they ended up just losing one and done with that deck. So we'll see if they have some better luck this time with the Murloc Paladin.
Yeah, Gara's mainly been the leader in communication as well, which is a little bit abstract from him normally. He's usually a very quiet, reserved guy, and when he speaks up, you want to listen. He's been very active thus far today, and with Alliance, Ostkaka is a very similar way. It's almost like the more that's going on in the match and the better they're doing, the more Ostkaka speaks.
Job's done.
We'll see at the beginning of this game how his spirits are going to be. This is a tough matchup. We've talked about it a little bit. Even though I think that Reno Mage might have a slight edge, I do think that the Paladin can win this matchup.
No, I think I disagree with you. I think that the Paladin does have a slight edge in this
Agree
matchup.
to disagree.
Agree to disagree. I think that the Paladin puts too much pressure on Alliance's Mage to really have the perfect endgame tools to deal with this. There's plenty of card draw on the deck. There's plenty of threats going on. There's really only a few dead cards, and those dead cards can certainly get you some strong tempo turns. And then you always have to consider the possibility of Ragnaros Lightlord or of Tyrion just raining terror on Alliance.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a few things. I think if you can land a Polymorph effect on 1 or 2 Murlocs, especially the War Leaders, you're almost guaranteed to win. Just because they don't have enough firepower to deal with later on. The Reno Mage will always win in fatigue, and they'll always have enough removal for the big threats later on. But if you get a terrible Kazakus potion, if you never draw into your Polymorph, or if the Paladin's able to pressure you enough to where you can't get to that stage, then you are in a bad spot.
Yeah, looking like a pretty easy Forgotten Torch turn here.
Coin Poly
from Alliance. Coin Poly's not bad, honestly, but that Polymorph effect means that Tyrion gets through.
What's more scary, Admiral? Let's be real here. A giant Paladin with a bubble and a huge sword that deals tons of damage, or Murloc. Let's go ahead and get Alliance thoughts on it.
Also, depending on our game plan, if we get Kazakus with 10 mana poly, then we don't have to use then we use the poly on Ethereum.
It's very ambitious to coin out this polymorph. Very ambitious.
I don't think it's really bad, but I think Torch is fine on the first one.
Time runs out on me.
The torch, please.
I wonder.
I think you hear power and throw one.
Bluegill, hero power.
I don't know if I want to play the Bluegills. Because our war leader died. Like, it sucks too much if Bluegill would be shipped.
Let me think.
This is all we needed was one. All we needed was one war leader to die, and that happened. Now if you sacrifice 2 Bluegills, that's enough. That's all we need.
I feel like if he had the polymorph, he would have coined it out, though. Like, do you really think he has it?
But we give him a Bluegill. I don't think we play Bluegills ever on the board. We just use them for clearing. Why would I want to play the Bluegill? What's the argumentation? Why do I?
I mean, you push 2. Yeah, I could see you holding it.
Push 2? Really?
You ever want a Doomsayer here to stop the water rally, or no?
Like, he would even play Refreshment when on one.
No, I think he Doomsayer next turn into the Ivory Knight. To just hold.
Yeah, I don't see the reason to play Bluegill on.
That's a decent card. Draw. Yeah. 3, 6 with, yeah, we can draw.
Well, Temple Storm, I like the way that they're deliberating, and one thing that they pointed out is Guard doesn't want the Bluegill's polymorph because that significantly limits their burst. He wants to be able to trade those into something whenever he plays them.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting way to think about it, is Gara's not concerned with the War Leaders getting removed, he's concerned with the Bluegills getting removed in terms of polymorph. Limiting the burst means that you're not popping Ice Block some of the times that you cast anything can happen. You end up with more power on board overall, but does that power really mean anything in the face of colossal AoE spells? And I don't think it does. And Tempo Storm wanted to set up this Doomsayer into Ivory Knight and save those Bluegills. And from Alliance, you heard it, Orange say it, coining that polymorph on a War Leader is very ambitious.
Man with a lot of ambition.
Dirty Rat's looking nice here, though.
Oh, yeah. Hit him with the Dirty Rat.
I mean, they would love to see Tyrion come out of that, especially with the Ooze pickup.
Yeah.
Really, almost any minion they hit other than Aldor Peacekeeper, they're pretty happy to see.
I suppose. Ivory Knight also limits the
Ninja or something. There's so many good ones. Ooh. That's not a good one. But that's another argument to hold the Bluegill that Tempo Storm didn't discuss. They saw Dirty Rat in the previous game. And here we are. And that ping is to cut into the cost of Solemn Vigil. If they did not kill that minion, it would be Ivory Knight and Solemn Vigil this turn. They want to take that possibility away from Tempo Storm. Very keen play.
Yeah, it would have been a huge turn. Tempo Storm deviates a little bit here, and they're going to go with Solemn Vigil. See what they can pick up. Maybe roll into an Ivory Knight next turn, or maybe Tyrion changed their plan a little bit and they want to roll.
Well, it is still possible to use the Doomsayer here. Alliance has 9 cards in hand, and so that would force just a dead resource to be played from them or to burn a card. So they're getting bare bones minimum the coin from Alliance when that happens.
Reporting for duty.
Another very keen play. Back-to-back really clever plays from these guys. Can't throw away that one.
Awkward turn.
Well, you can throw it away. You just have to also throw something else away.
This Doomsayer's getting polyed. Just so sick of it.
If Alliance polymorphs the Doomsayer,
What to do?
I'm putting my shoe on the head for the rest of the cast.
That'd be a really bad play. I think it's just throw away the coin here. I mean, they really don't have anything that they can throw away. If they are Blood Mage, they're going to burn a card next turn because that'll get cycled.
Yeah, the pickup of the Blood Mage doesn't really affect whether or not you keep the Arcane Blast because they already had Azure Drake. But I think there is some argument to throwing it away rather than the coin. But then Ivory Knight becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's water elemental.
Time runs out on me.
Like the coin's representing a fireball in your hand, alongside Archmage Antonitis.
What to do?
Maybe they throw away a random card in their deck. Let's go ahead and listen into Tempo Storm and see what they're playing and going into a close Tyrion turn.
Wow, just tossing the water alleyway?
Yeah, he's even tossing.
I guess he had to. He must have a weird hand.
So the medieval best draw.
Ooh, definitely Barnes, right?
Mm.
And I like the game plan of just saving this bluegill now. Now anything's going to actually get value on 10 if we want it.
The thing is that Barnes is much more flexible, and Iron Knight is in terms of mana. I would ignore the heal at this point.
I feel like, what's the math behind War Leader or Rag? It actually has to be, so it's either Rag, Finja, Second Ivory Knight, or Cycle. I actually think the Barnes is pretty high value now, especially with both Doomsayers gone.
It's Aldor.
1/3 chance, and there's 2 out of 9 that are card draw.
Yeah, it's actually really strong right now. Because like on 8, we want to play an 8-drop, right? So it's like, I think we get the Barnes value now.
Move quickly.
Yeah, if you get wrecked, it's insane. It has to be killed. Also prevents it.
Yeah, Rag's insane, Finch is insane, Cycle's insane.
Also, the Iron Knight is much better at the board.
Ah, okay.
Reporting for duty.
But it's jamming Archmage here.
Archmage, coin, blast the pyro.
Blocks the turn 8.
Yeah, blocks the turn 8, which is pretty good, right?
The other options aren't very strong.
What do we do next? Next turn, then we go like Drake something. I don't hate
You
it.
can fireball stuff for polymorph Tyrion, maybe. Like, I mean, he's gonna clear our stuff, I guess.
Or other line of play would be like Drake, Arcane Blast, and that's really bad for Archmage going forward. Yeah, I can get behind.
The way he clears Archmage though is through silver.
And then we can go Drake, Ooze.
We don't want to use the one mana, like one charge through silver.
Fair enough.
They just yeah. We still do it, I think. It just means he has to deal with this, and we're never gonna get more than 2 fireballs, probably.
Alright.
You see equality and then play the Ivory, right?
Do you ever just trade the bluegill in here? Like equality, trade the bluegill in?
That's what I was thinking, but the thing is, we will have targets.
No. Bluegill has charge. It can just keep attacking things. It's fine.
I wonder.
Yeah, there's no world we don't equality just.
If we don't top like that, we might have just lost the nice little tool.
Yeah, we could have gotten equality here from this.
Take the healing.
Clearly.
Yeah, land hands.
Humility is super insane against this Alex and stuff, but we have the Aldo in hand, and I think the only target.
I mean, no. Like
no.
Where it's actually not too bad because you can rag and humility on the same turn.
Problem is we don't have any draw right now.
Yeah, even the draw value and not even factoring the healing is insane.
We don't want this to go to fatigue. We want to draw our deck.
But I think we book first either way.
Okay. What about Inkmaster Flame Strike?
No, I don't think we use the Flame Strike like that.
And then
we can still book first.
We rather fireball.
Yeah, we can book first.
Yeah, we book first.
We can get book into Flame Strike.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
What to do?
I like that.
Let's start with book.
I'm seeing the book either way, like no matter what play we do here. If we go Fireball King, Ink Master, Fireball.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
I would think Master Flame Strike personally, but because of that Alex follow-up. It's really hard for him to remove that.
Master Frost Nova seems better to me, but
okay, we can go with that too.
I don't mind either.
I like the Flame Strike, yeah.
We can Frost.
Close one there, but got it in.
And back-to-back huge pickups as well. Getting the Frost Nova off the Babbling Book is actually really key in this matchup because one of your goals is to freeze the board post anything and set up a way to force a clear on the following turn. Now, the Polymorph hasn't wanted to be used on the Tyrion because they have Ooze. That allows them to Polymorph a Murloc in this spot. So that's another big one here. But you heard Gara say, we don't want to go to Fatigue. We want to draw our deck. They need to push the action. Where Alliance, they're just trying to find the most efficient use of their tools so that they can get past the hump of the Anyfins. They got no information from the Ivory Knight because the heal was for 0. They have no idea what card that could be.
It's gonna be tough for them at this stage. Templestorm had those Murlocs early on. They've been able to keep the board clear and limit the amount of pressure that the Reno Mage has been able to put on. And now it really is that discussion of, is this worth the Polymorph? We have the resources to deal with it otherwise. Ping, Fireball, Acidic Swamp Ooze. You still push 6 damage. You deal with the Tyrion completely and the Ashbringer.
Yeah, they're trying to find out whether or not they want to get the Acolyte down, I think, alongside the Acidic Swamp Ooze. And that would require the Babbling Book run-in, and that's what it looks like they're going to do. The extra development here, well worth the 1/1 body.
Pain, speak to me.
Goodbye, Ashbringer. So young. And continuing the pressure. Pressure not that big of a deal, though, because there's a lot of healing. If they can keep that board alive for a while, though, they might be good.
Now, the problem is mainly that it's just the value that Alliance is getting from their cards. They're getting significant value from theirs. And Tempo Storm, they have answers to stuff, but this deck does want to play proactively to some degree. And the fact that their hand is run dry of reasonable card draw, let's find out how they want to handle this turn.
So let's listen into Tempo Storm.
Second equality, we have 15 cards left.
All right, sure. We'll go on that. The consideration for land hands is pretty big because we don't have the clears yet. But
yeah, but we only have.
You'll spend you'll spend mana removing, then we can do it next turn. Or we could just remove with anything. Do we ever play anything with only 3 Murlocs played?
Yes.
Especially with the Kazakus not in hand yet. Yeah, I agree.
It's good before Kazakus, yes. Only before Kazakus, because
they already use Flame Strike too.
Because we expect AoE hacks.
Yeah, so I feel like next turn's anything for sure.
That's what I mean. We only need 1 wallet. So now, with this,
what to do?
And we have only 1 Iron Knight to get first anything. The thing is, then 6 Murlocs died, and then we only need. We can even sacrifice our Finger, but yeah, it's still pretty bad, of course.
I don't even think we play Finge at this point.
That's why it's so tough. Yeah, of course, if you play anything, we can play Finge. Murloc's back from the second anything. Of course we play Finge.
Runs out on me.
I should break Fireball. Or I should break first Ping.
Maybe go for Polymorph Emperor. We have Nova as well.
Yeah, yes, please.
If he plays Murlocs now...
Orange, you're underestimating the power of the Polymorph on the world. We're at 26, it's really hard to do stuff.
No. We have so much time. We have more time than them. We don't have to, do this plan. We don't have to commit to, playing, killing him.
I really don't see how this plan fails.
He kills our board.
Yeah.
He has
Peacekeeper heal.
Peacekeeper
plus heal on the Alex after he clears this.
What do we do then?
We still have Firelands Portal Frostbolt. We can still kill him.
We don't have Pyro. We don't have we can't kill him. If stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just focus. So we start playing.
We've done the playing. So there's no point in.
4 burn spells to kill us. 6 cards in hand.
This is mainly to kill their Emperor, I guess. So he cannot OTK us.
Rough situation for Temple Storm. Using an anything can happen to just clear.
And this was brought about by that Archmage Antonidas as well. It forced the equality from Tempo Storm, and they haven't had a way to clear since. And on Alliance's side, you can start to hear Ostkaka begin leading this team. As they're progressively doing better, he's speaking up more. And now he's starting to realize, like, look, we had a bad start. It doesn't mean we're out of this tournament yet. There's 5 matches still to be claimed. Yeah. Let's focus right now. Let's stop debating about the irrelevant things. Let's close.
Ostkaka smells blood. He's like, we can win. We could turn the season around. In 15 years, they'll make a movie out of us.
I wonder.
Alex is looking mighty strong here. They just saw a defensive anything can happen. It's pretty tough to lose after that.
Ooh, they just gave away the information, though. It's either a burn spell or an Alex.
Yeah, well, at this point, I'm guessing that they assume Alex is in hand or available. So even if for some reason they chose not to play it, this was going to be the setup. But the ice block here is to play around the anything can happen, make sure they can't die. And if it's a second defensive one, that's lights out. And none of these ways in hand look like they're getting there.
So they can outdoor Peacekeeper on the Alexstrasza and heal for 14. So I'll bring them up to 23 health with 7 damage on board and 14 damage from hand. So it'd still be a little bit off lethal, but Tempo Storm really wouldn't be developing much besides a 3/3.
Yeah, the problem is this Ink Master has continued to connect. And once that starts happening and you're having to make sacrifices and try to make these weird tempo plays to recover from behind, this is where the game falls apart. And so now Alliance, I think, has a very strong read on the rest of the hand from Tempo Storm. Let's see how they want to close this game.
We have 6 plus 14.
Yeah, we have 6 plus 14.
We just keep going phase, right?
I mean, we go phase with the 5/5 always. I mean, we could Fire Lens Portal phase and ping off the War Leader.
Killing the War Leader doesn't really do anything. It makes their anything better. I think I like actually Frost Noving, but...
I mean, it actually doesn't. It makes their anything worse.
What about Frost Noving? Like as you dig Frost Nova?
Isn't Frost Nova a good card if they anything?
I like Firelands Portal Frost Nova in that case.
But
because we can really Fireball Roaring Torch in the same turn. I would Firelands phase and play Nova.
We don't have time to play Kazakhs now.
I like Firelands phase, but I think I would ping off. But I mean, if you guys want to Frost Nova,
I would Nova.
Nova first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Charger.
You got a shot.
Oh, we missed lethal, but yeah, whatever. Played around Nagasi Witch. I guess this is lethal either way, right? We just win next turn.
There could be more heals. He could have taken Forbidden Healing from... He could play 2 Forbidden Healing.
But it's only... I don't see anything.
Let me think.
Right? We cannot draw into any... We can't draw into anything, and clear the Leroy. The Leroy was just over. You agree, Sane? I concede.
Yeah, please concede, yes.
The victory.
I don't want to concede, and then people are like, oh.
Well, a good distinction there from Ostkaka to point out. They played around a Naga Sea Witch. He pointed out they missed lethal, but they played around the Naga Sea Witch. And now Alliance, with the 4-1 lead, they've won 6 total games in 3 weeks, which means that they've won double the amount of games today than they've won in the first 2 weeks of play.
Yeah, and honestly, just in the body language, you're seeing a more focused Ostkaka here. He was smiling after the game. He just looks poised. He looks calm. At times throughout this tournament so far, he's been frustrated. Last week, they had some major communication issues, and they planned out a Bookworm turn without an extra dragon in hand, so the Bookworm wouldn't activate. Ostkaka literally head in hands goes, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, this is very different contrast from last week. And Tempo Storm, they're keeping their spirits high. And honestly, that's still super important right now. The series isn't over yet. But do you agree, saying concede is the play? Yeah, concede's the play.
Yes, please concede.
The check box on Alliance's side when they cast Frost Nova first to play around the additional cost that Naga Sea Witch would make the cards was checkmate enough. They didn't need to close that specific turn. But now with Warlock and Mage left, they're going to have to really turn this series around. I don't think they can afford to lose another game to this mage build.
I feel like essentially their best matchup, if their own mage is a Reno mage, is a mirror matchup. That's never a situation that you want to be in when you're faced with such a huge deficit in a match. So spirits are pretty low for Tempo Storm. Their odds of winning the match are pretty low, but we'll see if they can go against those odds and pull together a win, because at a 1-1 season score for them, this is sort of that week where they need to separate themselves from the bottom half of the pack. They need to start solidifying their place in that top 4, because that top 4 is what you need to get to those playoffs.
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna really say about that is I disagree with you. I think their spirits are fairly high given the situation they're in. They're falling behind many games now and falling to this Reno Mage build that's being piloted quite brilliantly from Alliance's side, and they continue to try to find ways to win the game. When hope's given up, that's just logic. When there's no move that wins you the game, disappointing, of course, but they're sticking together, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, we did talk about it the other week, though. When you start complaining about the bad RNG, that's when it starts to go downhill, and you could hear in Sane's voice how, we might have been fine without the Leroy. Probably not. Probably would have lost even without the Leroy, but it was just sort of the icing on the cake. Whoa!
Oh, geez. No wonder they didn't want to queue up Warlock versus Mage. This is not a good matchup. And that tells me the last one is Freeze Mage.
It's Zoo, PogChamp.
This is a bad matchup for Zoo. If Alliance puts together any semblance of tools that can handle a board state, it is pretty easy for them to pick up a win. Now, that being said, there is almost no way that they know this is Zoo. They might think that it's a Reno Warlock deck that has removed tech for the late game matchups. They might think it's a handlock deck. We saw that played quite a bit last week.
By Tempo Storm, in fact.
Yeah. Are they expecting Zoo here?
3 different Warlock decks in 3 weeks for Tempo Storm.
I'm just saying, Reynad's not in the roster of this Tempo Storm Trinity Series competition. I did not expect to see Zoo.
Might be in their contracts. They have to play Zoo on stream at least once a month.
I did play a bit of this deck early in the season, and I was actually using Bloodsail Corsair with patches in there so that I could buff it up with Power Overwhelming, so I could buff it up with Direwolf Alpha. Wasn't that bad. It actually felt pretty good. The problem was when you drew Bloodsail Corsair. Just not that good of a card. But it was great against Fiery War Axe. In the wide format like this, though, you don't quite have the same anticipation of weapons being there. Let's listen to Alliance and hear what they think after this turn.
The one that's bad.
Oh.
I don't know what the list is, but
I guess we Doomsday, right?
I just know Gar built this deck.
Would you ever play Flame Imp in a Reno deck?
No.
No.
Oh, maybe.
So
maybe the cruel Reno lock.
No.
It's also not impossible that it's Reno Zoo. I've seen Reno Zoo.
With Flame Imp?
No. It's like it's just Zoo, but with Kazakis and Reno.
Okay.
You just play one out.
But do we just
either way,
Doomsayer?
Yeah, Doomsayer.
Yeah.
But we have this time now to think about what they could have in their deck, like in general.
I haven't seen Flame Imp in
but we have to think about like Councilman and Doom Gardens.
Yeah.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, it feels bad to rope the Doom server. I'm just thinking.
It's kind of hard to know until they play something else. It could be other things.
Wasn't the Doomsayer? Feels bad, man.
I have to tap, there's no other way.
Yeah, just tap.
And yeah, it sucks, right? Even if the Doomguard we tap, right? There's no.
Yeah, just tap.
You agree, Sam, that we tap?
Yes.
With such a even the double crystallization.
That's pretty crazy too.
And
So sick.
And yeah, they get the Doomsayer too, and we don't have the Christ.
Well, I think maybe they're just considering saving Doomsayer for a turn, but it seems silly.
Acolyte's
better than Imp King boss.
Yeah.
They could Soulfire, like Malkamp Soulfire the Acolyte.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we can
mostly just blocking the 3-drops, right?
Yeah.
When you play Zoo against controllers, you just want to get the Councilman on as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
If it's normal Zoom, which we're assuming.
What to do?
Let the pain speak to me.
Yeah.
Yep. So we kind of have to go the gang boss here, right?
Yeah, I agree. Gang boss.
I mean, we can still high roll. I mean, we got so unlucky. It's time. It's time to pull the golems. It's time.
It's time.
I'm curious what time he means. Does he mean coin Doomguard next turn?
Coin Doomguard and pull the golems.
If that happens, they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Something that I'm loving from this as we roll into game 6 here is that Osaka is now finally completely taking charge. I mean, this guy's a world champion, and these guys need him to lead this team. You just know that they have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
Yeah.
His voice matters, and in the first couple of games, he was very quiet. And as they got a little bit lucky, and then they got very lucky, he's perked up.
And he's been practice partners with Orange for a while now, and all three of them are countrymen as well, so they have a little bit of synergy going on. Once their communication starts to get rolling, you could see once they started winning, that's when things started to turn around, and now this looks like a completely different team from the team we saw getting 6-0'd by Murloc Paladin in week 1.
Look at Gara. Gosh, that just looks stressed. I mean, he does want to trim the hand down to start increasing the chance those Silverware Golems get discarded, and when it gets discarded, it just goes straight into play. That's a free 3/3. So listen to Tempo Storm and see what they're thinking about.
And on our turn 5, we can go like Imp Gang Boss.
Custom goes on the far left.
Yeah.
We never trade the cards.
Next turn, Librarian's like 50-50 to pull a Silverware Golem if we play the Imp Gang Boss, I think.
And of course we trade, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Because that's always like a question if you trade or not. But I think here it has to be done, even if you expect a. Yeah, he can trade off.
Making that Fireball over Frostbolt.
What?
I don't like when mana with the AoE is better of the 5.
Yeah, only 5 damage is
we
fine.
probably don't need to take 1 mana with double Frost Nova in hand.
No, I like 5 mana.
Yeah.
I agree. We have run all the double Frost Nova.
Nice. I'm not gonna give away the time. I'll just wait a bit.
So what do we want on our second one?
Anything
Revive is not that bad. Yeah.
Doomsayer.
Yeah, Doomsayer.
Doomsayer Book Acolyte. Kazakus.
Steel
5 or Steel Guard.
Yeah. We don't need the armor, so.
Yeah, we have Breen on hand, so deal 5 sounds good.
Yeah.
Also, if we're forced to do it next turn, we can kill the councilman.
I'm sorry I can't go to anywhere quieter, by the way.
It's fine.
We're not.
Imp Gang Boss Soulfire, and then if he has the AoE, it still survives the the Councilman.
I like the Soulfire. I like the Soulfire because it
I think he Imp Gang Boss first, though. Yeah, the Councilman has to survive. He doesn't have Fireball.
Do we play the Gang Boss first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't discard Doomguard, you're fine, right? So.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Doomguard's insane. Give us. Oh my god, Malchazar's Imp, dude.
So if he goes time. Like if he has a potion, a good potion, he
could be the single target potion.
You have to remove.
I just don't imagine he went AoE over single target though.
But like a Doomguard would be 6 plus. Doomguard's 7 damage with the Councilman and the Direwolf.
That should be 18, right?
The line that comes up to me is to just go Dirt Rat Frost Nova. Then
PO Doomguard is 1 off. PO Doomguard is 1 off.
Yeah.
PO Leroy is lethal.
Yeah, so we don't play into that. Don't we want to go Cabal Courier Frost Nova instead of going and then go Dirt Red Potion next turn?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
I like it as well.
Yeah.
We can even Frost Nova again next turn if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Just Courier.
Shifting? We don't have time to play Antonidas, right?
I take Antonidas.
I'm gonna take
I mean, shifting is fine. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess like if it's like a really slower list than we're seeing, but they already played Soulfire, they played MCAM. There's no way I think that we need the Antonidas to win.
Wait, you mean
you're committing more into AoE next turn?
Think waiting.
But damn.
I don't hate waiting actually. Just
you're waiting. What? No, you're waiting. 100% tap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait. Tap.
No, never make that play. Jesus Christ.
Ooh. Okay. Good. Just flame and pass.
You like flame?
I would have played the flame imp. I don't know. It's like setting up lethal if he doesn't have the AoE potion.
But it's very obvious he goes for the AoE here, right?
I guess we can discard it next turn. We want to get the cycle value from discarding it. I don't hate it, but like setting up lethal is probably a consideration. It's pretty quick.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just say's got some strong words in some of these plays.
Honestly, I'm a bit concerned too because Tempo Storm, it feels like it's three folks talking about how to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some sort of leadership, I think, in this squad. And
just saying,
that's not the right approach.
Just saying seems like he has the most maybe respect because they always ask him, but it doesn't seem like he's approaching it in the right way.
I mean, a lot of that can boil down from the frustration of how unfortunate the games have gone. And nobody's immune to frustration. You know, maybe Gandhi. But it's very clear that they're in these tough positions in Alliance. It's like they're getting more fluid as the game progresses. They get this Ice Block down now. They have Reno Jackson in hand.
They have Frost Nova as well, which is such a huge tool in this matchup.
Tempo Storm's been trying to play around AoE this entire time, and Alliance just continues to put them in a tough spot turn after turn and go, eventually you're going to have to play minions. And the longer it takes for them to force AoE from Alliance, the longer it's going to take for Tempo Storm to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they have to go for something now. They can't just keep tapping and keep waiting because that's also giving Alliance more time to draw into more tools.
Exactly. And the problem with that is if they would have gone for it, they would have gotten punished. And they didn't have the gas to back it up. So this Malchezaar's imp can give them the gas to function with it. You know, maybe that's a consideration for even holding the imp early on instead of ever playing it. Like maybe just keep it in your mulligan. I don't know. It feels like a really important card to combo with the Doom Guards. That way you can force the issue and have the gas to back it up.
Yeah.
And they're going all in here, and rightfully so. Something has to give this turn.
Summon a 5/7 with charge, draw 2 cards, and potentially summon 2 3/3s at the same time.
It's almost like it's too much, but you're replacing the cards in your hand anyway, so the loss is nominal at this point. That is 100% going to force AoE. Even Crazed Alchemist in the build, so they could have had that Miracle Draw on turn 2 to deal with Doomsayer. I mean, this is it. Wow. That is a good draw.
Yep. So they can attack in with the Shade, Dirty Rat, and Clear. Then they're not clearing that. So let's go ahead and listen to Alliance and just see their plans.
Put Soulfire face.
I'm sorry?
Curse of Reform into lethal through Ice Block.
I mean...
Okay.
We can't play around it either way. We're not going to Reno this time.
No.
Okay, so forget that.
Yeah. I mean... I don't see any other play in that portion.
I wonder.
I just do it on the Doom Guard, right? I don't trade me.
Yeah, Doom Guard.
And just ping?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you could go Peddler or King Blast. I don't know I don't think it matters at this point.
No, the Super Smart.
Flame Imp and Direwolf, I think. Although, you could consider holding Direwolf for Doom Guard, but you already have Abusive, so...
Yeah, just play the 3. There's 2 1-drops and the Direwolf.
Oh, we hold the Crazed. Yeah, we have also the Abusive.
So many possibilities.
Maybe you don't play him, actually.
You are not the boss of me.
For cycle value, I think it's fine.
But we had to play 1 minion. Like either the Crazed or the Imp. Which one was better to hold? So like
Yeah,
this, right?
Keep it like that, yeah.
We also have to set up lethal.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get Curse of our Fam.
Yeah.
I would have done a cleaner.
We're gonna be rich.
Or Eater of Secrets or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually saw Saiyan play Eater of Secrets on ladder in World Packs. Played it in. I don't remember what. I think it was in Reno Lock.
Alright, we can stand it, I guess.
What did you say? Abusive?
Use of the Malgazar's Imp, defender it, and then Crazed out the arena and trade in.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Okay.
Defender, and then.
Okay, yeah, in this order, I see.
No.
What?
No, Crazed out can trade into the 4/6.
Almost out of time.
Oh, I see.
Because now if he has Blizzard.
Now you concede. Now you just concede, dude. Yeah.
You win this time.
That was brutal.
I mean, Gara's right. Alliance is super smart.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's a bad matchup for Zoo. There's no question about it. But the setup that Alliance took from this, where they took the damage and the single target damage and the AoE damage to clear Doomguard off that's actually a trick I learned from Raven. We were playing some games together, and he said you take the damage on the potion here once you have the 4 damage to ensure that a Flame Wreath Faceless won't blow you out. And that situation is almost identical. Make sure Doomguard doesn't blow you out of the water. When that turn happened, that was GG.
Yeah, and they waited until they overextended. They're like, we're okay. And matchup's tough. Reno Mage is some of the most AoE in the game, but we'll see if the Reno Mage can keep going. They have one more win left to close out this series. Alliance still looking for their first win this season. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Trinity Series right after this.
Who's that pro?
This is a very difficult play to read, too. I don't think he's got this level of reading level to handle these books. These feel like grade 7 books.
It's Firebat.
This is a very difficult play to read too. I don't think he's got this level of reading level to handle these books. These feel like grade 7 books.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series presented by ESL and Twitch. My name is TJ, and that's Nathan, that's Admirable Zamora. And Alliance is about to close out a series, Admirable.
And in a very spectacular way thus far, all 5 of their wins this set have been with Reno Mage. They lost the first game with Anyfin Paladin versus the Pirate Warrior from Tempo Storm. Since then, 5 straight.
This level of success from Reno Mage is unprecedented since all the way back from this morning.
This level of success for Alliance is unprecedented thus far.
I guess so. That's a true statement, actually.
They have brought up their total number of wins today versus the previous 2 weeks by 250%.
Insane.
And the match is not done yet.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do it by 300%.
And that's 2 Arcane Intellects and a Doomsayer, and that means Freeze Mage, and that's why Tempo Storm was dreading this matchup.
I mean, they have to win all of their matches with Freeze Mage to win this series.
Which is easy. They only have to beat Warlock, and then Druid,
Rogue,
and then Rogue, and then Priest. Honestly, the Druid one's the only one that I'm really worried about for them. The rest of the, well, of course, in this one, but the rest of them are pretty winnable. One of the reasons why this matchup is so tough is because Alliance's pressure resources aren't valuable. They're free to just use them and watch them die by the wayside. But if they get an ice block set up, Tempo Storm needs to pop that ice block. So the order of operations has to be that they land Alexstrasza after Reno Jackson or have the full Monty of discounts on Emperor Thorson alongside Evolved Kobold. So either way, that is a ton of damage they have to deal. Plus, they have to get past the potential for Kazaka's potions to restore armor.
Usually an insurmountable amount of damage, but not usually against Reno Mage, so we'll see. They need to pick up the ice block. That's the first sort of plan for Alliance, is to pick up a way to survive that burst. They have the Reno, but they need to survive. Reno Mage isn't necessarily going to pressure, as hard as some of the other decks that Freeze Mage would struggle with. And they have plenty of cycle. That's sort of what you want. You need to get those cards rolling. So there might be a chance.
Well, there's definitely a chance. Let's listen to Tempo Storm and see how they want to handle the coming turns.
Think about it.
Like Intellect into Knob is ping next turn.
I think it's this turn we can play the ice block.
Nah, I don't think you overblock here. I think you cycle for sure. We don't care about the ice block.
You want more options. You have 2 AIs in the hand, especially.
What to do?
Yeah. So we do the intellects.
Yeah, the block just doesn't really matter as much in this matchup.
Yeah, and a lot of matchups I see develop. Matchup. It's too little pressure from them. We don't have the time.
Plus, we kind of have to.
Yeah, it's better because it blocks their 2-drops. I guess Freeze Mage on turn 4, there's not any 4-drops, so you want to go like ping plus 2-drop or like something like that.
Are we ever scared of overdrawing at some point? Like maybe not next turn, but not next turn, but
we have a place and we also have the coin, and also we're not going to fatigue, right? So overdrawing is totally irrelevant.
And also, yeah, like we can, if it really comes down to that, we can just start jamming out cards like if you have to.
I agree.
I'm just gonna let those cock educate me how to play against Freeze Mage.
But right now, with both die, we're only at 8 cards. Well, 9 with the turn draw, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So you can go Loot Hoarder Ping, or we can go Acolyte.
I think Loot Hoarder Ping's actually better. He trades the Acolyte in, develops a 4-drop.
I think you'd rather play Acolyte though, because it might buy you a turn. Although
He mill us. I don't think he would mill us, but yeah, he can't mill us. It just sucks that he just trades the Blood Mage in and then he develops a 4-drop, and then this Acolyte is still a nuisance to deal with.
yeah, I think you just play the Acolyte and stuff. Like,
You still think Acolyte's better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting on 1. Like, you'd rather develop this and make him waste a turn.
Runs out on me.
For sure.
Pain, speak to me.
Oh, we can make them overdraw 1, but it's not that good. I mean, fatigue is not irrelevant in this matchup, so overdrawing is not irrelevant, but we do give them, as opposed to just cross-bolting it, we give them more cards.
We give them 2 extra draws, or 2 extra draws.
If we frostbolt, do we coin the courier?
It's just 1 extra. We give them 1 extra, and we give them 1 extra, and we overdraw them 1.
Yeah.
And we also don't have to use our frostbolts, but we also have to get cards out of our hand. We have to get cards out of hand anyway.
Yeah.
So
either way, it's Cabal coin, right?
Cabal coin frostbolt.
Yeah, or Cabal coin ping, whatever we decide.
We just PO.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, so we PO the Thomas.
Yes, that works out.
I mean, overdrawing 1 is really not that bad, but I don't know in this spot.
But giving him an extra in the early game is like quite relevant.
Well, you hear the back and forth. Tempo Storm saying, well, we don't really care if they overdraw us because we're drawing 3 cards, and Alliance really thought about it for a while.
Yeah, when VLPS said they can't overdraw us, I think more of his reference is it requires them to use a resource, or it requires them to use 2 of their mana that turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot to do with your turn if you simply want to burn a card from your opponent. And you heard Oskaka talking about how the fatigue's not irrelevant in this matchup. And indeed it isn't. But something to really think about is who the aggressor is when it comes to this match. And if you're talking strictly on a resource-for-resource basis, it's definitely Tempo Storm. They're the ones who need to find the burst potential and kill Alliance. Alliance can simply wait. And with that Dirty Rat draw, that is huge. So if Dirty Rat pulls Emperor Thorson, and it dies. If Dirty Rat pulls Alexstrasza and you lose the 15 points damage to burst. If it pulls Evolved Kobold and they don't have access to that extra damage, those are all very favorable outcomes for them. And Tempo Storm, you haven't heard them discuss Dirty Rat at all throughout the course of this game. And so I'm curious how Alliance is going to treat this. It looks like they want to force the draw and then consider Dirty Rat. The problem is Alexstrasza is a bit painful.
Yeah, they would need to expend the Frostbolt.
And with that attack, they're definitely not using Dirty Rat this turn. Just continue to wait.
Just start putting on some pressure with the Water Elemental.
Now, the question for Tempo Storm is this hand good enough to Emperor? There's no Ice Lances here. There's only 1 Frostbolt.
Fireball. And the Evolved Kobold.
It's really close.
So if you evolve or if you do it now, well, I guess it's irrelevant since they're going for this.
That's looking like a burn of a Frost Nova to me. I think maybe they thought about Dirty Rat, and that's why it's one of the reasons they wanted to Arcane Intellect. Let's listen to Alliance and see what they think of this.
I mean, I don't hate Coin Archmage here.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
We miss 1 fireball, but
not that good.
What else do we do?
Is it?
He's gonna he can fireball ping it, I suppose.
Yeah, fireball ping.
I mean, isn't that fine for us? Him using a fireball?
Fine, but the way is Archmage like relevant to the matchup? Because if he's not really part of our game plan, then I'm totally okay with them
It's
spending
also
their
that we can tempo him out later on a turn where he wants to do like an Alex or where he needs to do something else.
Oh, yeah, you mean that?
Mostly that we don't have a good turn now either.
We don't have a good time here.
I guess we just play him.
I like it. Gets 2 cards out of hand too. Not irrelevant.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Buys you enough time. It's good.
We hunger
for vengeance.
All right, it's good to get that out of the way.
Yeah, that's like very little value. It's nice. But he might have like Firelands Portal.
He knows the game plan. He's just delaying for the ice block draw, but that's still the right player, else we lose instantly.
Yeah.
3, 6, 9. So we can still go Azure Drake if we want. Seems like the best play, or seems like the only.
I would.
What about the dirty that we don't hit yet? I guess.
Not the dirty rat yet. There's nothing we're really scared of this turn.
I mean, we're always gonna have a good dirty rat. They're always gonna have turns where we can play it right. And they haven't played a single Doomsayer, so playing dirty rat seems kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, like they have Doomsayers, they have cycle cards. Pulling Emperor is not that important unless they run Antonidas. If they run Antonidas, then pulling it is good. I don't think they play Antonidas is like really, really bad.
It just means that...
now we get it for free without having to remove it.
Yeah, but
honestly, we could even Dirty Rat and Soulcaster the Rat, even.
Do we want
Dirty Rat AI?
Let's see.
Do we want to give them the Alex turn though? Like free Alex turn?
That's right. We have like lots of freezes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. I mean,
I think it's fine giving them.
We could kill.
Yeah, I would play Dirty Rat.
Dirty Rat AI and then Soulcaster the Dirty Rat, or what?
Yeah.
Or do we Soulcaster it first?
Just go Dirty Rat first. See what we pull.
Do we Soulcaster it first?
Yes, Soulcaster first.
Do we not kill this Doomsayer now?
Or can we
Forgotten Frostbolt? Did we not kill this?
Runs out on me.
Like, we didn't pull anything good, so do we not just kill the Doomsayer?
Okay, yeah, we can. We could do that.
We could do that, actually.
That's what I would do.
Alright. Don't hate it.
Like, if we pull something good, yeah, I get it that we would want it to die, but now that we pulled a 1-1, it seems kind of bad to give him a free turn where...
Quick pivot there from Powder. Point now, and I think he has a pretty good point. And I like that they sort of trust in him when he says, don't we just kill it now? And they're like, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you're protecting 9 power on board as well as 12 health. Flame Strike is a little bit unsightly here, but I think Alliance is just okay with that. They have so many tools in hand to reload. And Tempo Storm, they're eyeing this Alexstrasza. I don't mind it. Is this their best chance to win?
They don't have enough damage should Alexstrasza get answered to win the game next turn. Is that a premature use of Alexstrasza?
I don't know. Something to really think about is that Ostkaka has been a very proficient Freeze Mage player for many years. That's helping guide him through this match. And Tempo Storm, they think this is their best time to strike, is with Alexstrasza right now, and you just heard Ostkaka say it. We have Reno Jackson if they have Alexstrasza.
Yeah, and, healing up from 15 is actually pretty good because you have the ice block left. Usually they'll have to use all of their burn, and usually the Freeze Mage player will only use Alexstrasza early before the Reno comes out if they know that they're going to be able to kill you before you find ice block. So sometimes it's a little bit of a necessity in that case. And how afraid is Alliance of dying next turn? Is going to be the question.
They have to fear it.
Yeah, I mean, look how much cycle they've had. They drew 2 cards of Acolyte of Pain. They've used 2 Arcane Intellects. They had a Loot Hoarder. They've cycled so much so far this game.
If they didn't respect the lethal potential from Tempo Storm here, I'd be shocked. Like, the Alexstrasza is attempting to bluff exactly that, I think. And then Tempo Storm may be looking for value game here in the event of failure. And Alliance going to draw for Ice Block is what they're looking for. Fail to get Ice Block, so it'll be Reno Jackson, freeze the Alexstrasza. Set it to 1 to die the hero power next turn. Nope, gonna push. Let's listen to Tempo Storm to see how they want to handle this now.
Now we can do it, right? Or is it still not?
Kind of like the Emperor Nova in the sense that, well, no, it's definitely not OTK at this point.
Then we should draw more. Then we should.
Yeah, we have to draw more. It sucks, but we have to draw more. We still have another Blizzard too.
Yeah,
Blizzard would be so good here.
Yep.
I hope you like my invention.
Team Slayer.
That's good.
Loot Hoarder, Team Slayer Nova.
Yep.
I roll need.
The end is coming!
Yeah, I don't think you can brand the Alex at all.
So if we draw Icelands off the Loot Hoarder, Frostbolt on our next turn, we go Emperor, and then we draw into like second. No, then it's just lethal. Then we just win unless he draws block. So it comes down to block now at this point.
What do we want to do? Do we want to deal with this?
We always start with Babbling Book.
I think we want to deal with it, and we also want to Frost Nova with Alex.
Yeah, but we Babbling Book. We can get.
And I guess Polymorph is the best, right?
We can proc him if we get something from Babbling Book.
Okay, start with Babbling Book.
Yeah, but we can go Soulcaster, Polymorph, Frost Nova otherwise.
Oh, I like that.
Soulcaster, the Reno, the Reno or the Rap? Another thing is we dilute our deck actually from getting Ice Block if we put it in.
Yeah,
but I think that's fine. I think we do it on the Rat.
I'm just playing stuff first.
No, we always do it on the Reno. It's nothing to pull now with the Rat, so we do it on the Reno.
Cobbled.
I would do it on the Rat. I would getting on the Reno is useless.
So ping the.
I don't think we need the Loot Hoarder ping now. I think we have enough now.
But what speaks against it? You want to ping face?
I mean, let's see if pinging face is important. So next turn we have 8 plus 5 is 13.
I think we still have to reduce a Fireball. I think the Icelands didn't matter. Fireball, it's 7 mana from hand, right?
Yeah,
Torch is lethal if we ping face.
Ping and find the torch. Yeah, no. Just ping the Loot Hoarder because you want to reduce the torch as well. Yeah.
I think that. Oh yeah.
That's good.
There's 3 burn spells to find.
Okay, that's good.
So it's just Ice Block or GG.
Yeah, that ping was important. Now we can torch plus second Frostbolt. Otherwise we couldn't.
No, we just have lethal in hand. We just have lethal in hand. It's just if he has.
Wow. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, this is lethal. So if he has Ice Block, we lose. If he doesn't have Ice Block, we win.
How do we do this? We're always gonna play Babbling Book though, Red. We could get Ice Block. We could. There's a lot of things we could get.
And we can do it after the push.
Yeah. So we
have to hit 2 guys into his minions. So we have to fireball his face, I guess.
Yeah, torch him in the face to start off with.
Yeah. And then with, I guess, Reno Soulcaster. Maybe.
No. Drake and Soulcaster into face.
Drake dies to the push anyway.
Oh yeah. Reno and we're pinging. We're doing this too slow. Just proc him somehow, and then play Volcanic and Babbling Book and
do
it. Yeah, there and then into L1.
I'm playing the class.
Okay. And it doesn't matter. We don't have mana for Ice Block.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still a game. Still a series.
Why don't we Babbling Book first? What if that got you on spot?
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell? I hope they got the Ice Block from this Babbling Book.
Babbling Brook.
Look at that.
This is the one time I hope they got it, the punish. I mean, the only way they lose the game is dying to a TK, right?
Well, Temple Storm won, and you could hear VLPS at the end there. He said it's still a series. 4 more wins with Freeze Mage, and they got there.
VLPS is always on the looking on the positive side, and I think that's super important for their team morale at the moment. You heard them the entire time looking for a lethal setup, and just saying finding it at the very end. We need to ping the Loot Hoarder to draw an extra burn spell and discount that from the Emperor Thaurissan. If they drew Fireball there, they didn't have the mana to cast everything in their hand. And so Rory, and even Forgotten Torch would have been enough in that situation. So that's a great find from them. And on Alliance's side, you're starting to hear the communication a little bit fall apart. I mean,
Well, that matchup's not one that you play very often, though.
Sure, but Tempo Storm said it. Like, the only way they die is to OTK. Why wouldn't you play the Bibling Book first?
Yeah, that's a great point. But we're going to go to a very quick break, guys, but don't go anywhere. More Trinity Series right after this.
Who's that pro?
Dude, I don't know when they're broadcasting our comms, so like I imagine after we spend a minute, they've got to be like, let's take a listen in on what Luminosity is thinking.
It's Chucky!
Dude, I don't know when they're broadcasting our comms, so like I imagine after we spend a minute, they've got to be like, let's take a listen in on what Luminosity is thinking.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series. The Mage has finally been defeated for Alliance. We'll see if Tempo Storm can make a comeback. My name's TJ, joined by That's Admirable, and we found out a fun little statistic during the break.
Yeah, Tempo Storm has now lost more games to Mage than Alliance has to Paladin. And so the struggle of man versus deck continues. As that's 11 games in 2 weeks they have dropped to Mage.
Yeah, they lost to Luminosity's Tempo Mage last week, and it was a pretty brutal match, to say the least. But let's move into game number 8 here. Alliance still on match point. The Mage has been eliminated, and now it's time to go over to the Druid, and this looks like a Cthulhu Druid of sorts, maybe the Kun Cthulhu.
Kung Fu.
The Kung Fu.
You just karate chop everything in half once that Aviana Kun comes down.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat that, but this matchup, very much an uphill battle for Tempo Storm. They're looking to utilize Alexstrasza to deliver the initial burst and then have damage from hand to follow up. So it's a lot of card draw and trying to stave off the board position. For Alliance, it's ramp, play minions, and start attacking. Now, last week they did not have... last week Luminosity did not have Feral Rage in their Druid build. I'm going to guess Alliance is straying away from that because I'm not sure they would have queued up a Druid build straight to Freeze Mage unless it had a way to sustain some life total. They mulligan Dark Arakoa into Dark Arakoa and pick up Innervate. This hand is getting crazy.
It didn't go Wild Growth on 2, Innervate Dark Arakoa on 3. And Azure Drake.
And then Azure Drake.
Azure Drake on 4.
Dark Arakoa
on 5.
Ready to get busy in this match.
Yeah. What's the sound that Dark Arakoa makes when it hits the board?
Stumped.
Yeah.
Stumped to Stein.
I'm stumped too. I didn't know. I was asking you to see if you knew.
Yeah. I'm surprised I don't know. I pay a lot of attention to the voices because I like I like voice acting them. It's fun.
What noise do I make when Dark Arakoa hits the board?
We hunger for vengeance.
No, I was going with, I was looking for, oh, shucks.
Oh, my bad.
But Dark Arakoa going to come down next turn. I like Tempo Storm going with the Blood Mage here because that means that their spells are going to be more powerful against whatever threat's going to come down the next turn. Look, that's a curve.
It actually allows them to clear out the Dark Arakoa, which is really important here. The Coin Fireball to start saving off that pressure. If they hadn't played that Blood Mage, they were just simply going to fall behind the whole game.
Coin Fireball, Torch the Drake. They got their own curve.
We missed it too. I didn't even hear what he said because I was...
We minions like to feast. We minions like feet.
It's definitely not what he said. Tempo Storm here. They just really don't have another play. They have to clear this Dark Arakoa, and this is why the matchup becomes problematic. Is the Tempo Storm removal spells are largely seated in their reach on Alliance. So this chip damage means very little, but every burn spell they use means a lot.
Yeah, Naturalize.
Yeah, not the greatest in this particular matchup, I'd say, because...
You could burn some...
Well, Tempo Storm's going to have to be using their resources. It's going to be a long ways off for them to draw some cards. But now they're facing down Azure Drake ahead of the curve. Let's hear how they want to handle it.
Yeah, torch it for sure.
Tunnel's doing work.
Emperor would be really nice before turn 7 or 8.
You're going to get it with the Acolyte Ping.
Wonder if he's playing Naturalizes or Mulches.
We don't care. We're Freeze Mage. We have a bunch of burn. We don't care what we.
Yeah, we don't care what the opponent does.
Yeah, we just care about the Feral Rages, I guess. But yeah, if it's only one, I think we're favored.
I mean, there's still ways we can prop them from 30.
Just play it.
Like, I think you guys are being a little bit too much focused on that game plan right now. We have like a bunch of giant dudes against Freeze Mage.
Yeah, exactly. Like the damage you get from this guy is probably more than you would get from waiting until Bran.
There's like a point to talk about it. Like, it's our only Cthulhu buff, so I mean, it's relevant in some games where Bran is like less card.
Let the pain speak to me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Man, we just go face, right? We're always playing war.
Right, let's just slow down like a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Pretty sure war is happening.
They have a lot of cards in hand as well, but we can go Nourish next turn into natural. Yeah. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean,
it should be a war, and we never approve.
We never hit any of those. Always hit face, right?
Yeah, I did face, yeah.
We want them to ping directly.
Yeah, definitely.
Alliance seems a little bit more stressed than in their previous series.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe worried about this Freeze Mage just a tiny bit. We got a little bit of information from them as well. The Dark Arakoa is their only Cthulhu buff. So Powder was worried about, hey, if we play them both early on without the Bran, maybe we don't have enough damage later on.
Well, they got the Emperor they wanted, and this is the setup for it. That's 8 cards in hand, so Naturalize active to burn, and 10 damage crashing it as well. I think part of what's causing a little bit of the stress for Alliance is the fact that they don't really have a lot of decisions to make with this build. Most of the decisions you make with the Druid build are frankly outside the game. It's tech choices like Naturalize. It's tech choices like which Druid build do you play. The rest of it spells itself very often, and because they have that lack of options, I feel it's bothering them a bit.
Tempo Storm has Alexstrasza and they have Burn.
And a lot of Burn.
A lot of it, yeah.
I mean, not quite all of it, but it's still a lot. Doomsayer drawn for Alliance as well, so they did want some game versus the aggro builds with this one. Potentially steal something by landing a strong Doomsayer and then just building a giant wall.
Seems like a good game plan to me.
Making the Pirates pay for it.
Also, double Naturalize picked up for them. So, I mean, I think the plan for them is just to go aggressive. Face, Naturalize.
Yeah, 2 big dudes will do that. And the armor count actually matters here, too, for Alliance. Being able to hero power very often while at the same time still making powerful plays, that can throw off the map the Tempo Storm.
Certainly can.
My hand is too full.
Oh,
Second block.
So now Tempo Storm with one less turn in the very, very long stretch of the game due to that burn, but certainly not a critical one.
I think they're really looking. They were trying to search for Doomsayer there, but Frost Nova is pretty good. Let's go ahead and listen to Tempo Storm, see what plan they're formulating as this game is starting to come to a head.
Reggie has it. Yeah, losing that block.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I don't think it's necessary, Alex. Next turn, we'll see.
How much is Feral Rage? So if we draw Kobold. Problem is we can't play everything. Kobold. Like we can't. I guess Kobold plus Ice Lance. Yeah, if we draw Kobold and Ice Lance in the next few draws, we just win.
What if we draw a Blizzard?
Problem is he's popping us next turn. We Alex. So if he has Feral Rage, I think we lose.
Yeah, but if we draw Blizzard, we could Alex Nova on 10.
Yeah, we might have to not Alex next turn, depending on what we draw.
I mean, then you're assuming you chain 2 freezes. That's the assumption that you hit both blizzards. It's like...
Yeah.
I mean, we could hit both blizzards.
I'm not a big fan. Let's just trade in the loot order first and see what happens, right? Loot order into 5/5.
9 cards.
Ooh. So, I mean, if he doesn't have Feral Rage, we have 8 plus... Yeah, we just win if he doesn't have Feral Rage.
Wait, the thing is, we can Nova, right?
17.
What do we lose by not Novaing? I mean, it gives, like, after he procs us Nova, now it would buy us more draws. Do we go Nova then, first, before we Alex?
I think Nova might be better.
We can also Torch to reduce the armor.
Yeah, we get Torch Face,
as much burn as we can. So
yeah, we have the Torch Face.
Torch Face first, and then draw with AI, right?
Yeah.
So we want Icelands.
So now we have enough. Let's just hope he doesn't pop here somehow, with, like Bronzebeard, Cthulhu shenanigans.
Katoon is 12/12, right? So Katoon should not proc us except he's the luckiest player in the world. No.
What? How is it possible to proc us?
No. I was like, yeah, he can.
I mean
do we win through Feral Rage? Hold on, guys. Do we win through Feral Rage? We have 12 plus 17 plus. Yeah, we went through Feral Rage.
Yeah.
Yes.
That seems like a really good play, right?
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And if there's no way that they kill us, then we can just kill them.
Yeah. I mean, now
they don't have second block.
Yeah. Does Brand Youthful Brewmaster work?
No.
But no, you don't get to. There's a fun animation going on, but it doesn't work. Like Brewmaster sits back to your hand. Never mind.
What to do?
They thought about the Feral Rage, but they didn't think about good old Coon.
Wow, that 10 armor is massive right now. Tempo Storm, they needed that to not happen. Not only is it the extra 7/7 body that threatens to proc, but it's an extra 10 armor. And Alliance has Youthful Brewmaster in hand. If they pick up Innervate, that's another 10 armor they can stack on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Or Feral Rage if they do have it in the build. We heard them earlier saying they cut every Cthulhu buffer besides Dark Irakoa. So usually you only run sometimes Disciple of Cthulhu in that. Other than that, but that opens up the 3 slots. So maybe they do have Feral Rage somewhere in the build. And now Tempo Storm has to balance this act of putting on enough pressure to win, while also they only have 1 block.
They need to drop Blizzard.
No Blizzard.
So the alternate plan here is burn from hand. And they're missing 1 point of mana to cast everything. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus pings. So that would be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
30
13,
damage.
14, 22. How do you figure? What am I missing?
Kobold, Frostbolt is 10. Ice Lance is 22, plus the Roaring Torch is 8.
I don't have the mana for that. Let's listen into Alliance and see what they're thinking.
I think we win. If we have enough board space.
No, we don't have enough board space.
My hand is too full.
So what do we do now? We naturalize this.
How many release cards now?
I guess
3 release. We naturalize in hero power, right?
Yeah.
That has to be the play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Natural Ice doesn't actually do anything, but it just
Brewmaster the Cold. Just proc him, Brewmaster the Cold Light.
Hero power.
Drink with me, friend.
We're at 31. Can we actually...
It's very, very hard. I think it's like very impossible. Like, it's so hard for them to kill.
With 3 cards reduced.
I think
Rip. Yeah, Rip. We're in. We can freeze this board and freeze his face.
There's a chance that he hasn't drawn any swipes, and I mean, yeah, it's the only play, right?
But that's their only play, so we get the damage in for lethal with the. But he has Brun plus Oracle. We're dead.
Yes.
I mean, we died for the. He has lethal in hand.
Oh yeah, the Brand.
So it's
yeah,
over.
yeah, that's lethal. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can play around it. You can go Cobalt, Blizzard, and then Ice Lance the face. Draw the second torch for lethal.
And we never win now.
No, that's the only line. Like Cobalt, Blizzard,
Yeah, you can Cobalt
Ice Lance
Blizzard.
the face. Next turn you go Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Frostbolt, Torch is.
Yeah, but he no. I think the chance that he can't kill the Cobalt is 0% though.
Good job, guys.
I just swiped, dude. I don't know, like, maybe the Cthulhu doesn't kill them somehow.
Yeah, maybe the Cthulhu doesn't kill him.
Wait, is this Cthulhu lethal? Thinking.
Wait. Think. Nice.
Nice. Okay, we needed that one. We really needed that one. Sweet.
Sweet.
I mean, Orange said it. They really needed that one. And it turns out my play at the end there used up 11 mana. Maybe in some worlds.
It's a good old Twitch
Tavern
chat
Brawl.
mana.
Tavern Brawl.
Yeah. You know, with a coin.
Sure.
Maybe they played a Burgley Bully or something.
Yeah.
So there's a way to get 11.
That they forgot
It's
about.
not at once.
It's, a huge win for Alliance as they now put themselves, on the board with a record of 1-2. And there you can see Mage doing a lot of the work for them today. The Reno Mage doing a lot of work. And I have to say, they played that deck exceptionally throughout the series.
Yes, I mean, they had their fortunate moments for sure, but that's going to be the case with any tough-fought series. When the players are fairly equally matched and you pit your wits and will against each other, the cards are going to decide some of that. And they picked up a couple key wins with that, and it snowballed from there. This was the form that Alliance needed to be.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can continue that streak as we move forward in the coming weeks. This is, we're getting towards that halfway point. Next week is week number 4, and it's 7 weeks. So, week number 4 would be halfway, or week number 4 would be sort of after Tuesday, after
day
Wednesday,
one of week number 4.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
Yeah, we'll see. But we do have an interview ready with one of the players from the winning team. It's Powder from Alliance. Hey, Powder, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, guys.
Hey, man. So a big win for you guys today. We started to hear you guys start talking more and communicating more towards, the end when you guys started winning a lot. Did you guys talk about things at all after your losses in weeks 1 and 2? Did you try and fix communication, or how was you guys feeling after week number 2 loss?
I mean, I don't think we've become too discouraged. I mean, it's still Hearthstone, and I think we've kind of had the same plan the first 2 weeks as our opponents, and one team has to lose, and it's kind of unfortunate the way we lost the first 2 weeks, but we didn't take it too hard and kind of just focused on the next week. And I mean, like you said, we kind of worked a little bit on how we communicate through each game, and we still have some problems where we talk a little bit too much and it comes down to the rope, and you kind of don't get the optimal plays in, which is definitely a problem. But yeah, we've been working on a few things that I think helped us a little bit this week at least.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to help. You guys seem to come back a lot. But you guys saw, again, some different decks this week coming out from Tempo Storm with Freeze Mage and then the Zoo Warlock. What did you think of their choices, and how does it feel, not knowing what teams are going to bring from week to week?
I mean, I think this week we were pretty certain that this is the one week where, or the one of the first 3 weeks at least, where we're kind of not going to know what they're 100% going to play. Both G2 and Complexity were going to play basically the same as us, but we've seen Tempo Storm mixing it up a lot in the first 2 weeks, so we were kind of prepared for a lot of different things, and we were almost expecting the Freeze Mage to come out again. But yeah, the suit was a bit different, but we came. I mean, we had a Reno Mage against it, and it worked out in our favor. So I mean, it's fun that they're trying new things. I don't know if it's the best if you want to win, but it's hard. I mean, I haven't really played Sue, so I shouldn't be saying too much.
You had some interesting tech choices in your lineup. We only got to see a couple of decks from you guys, but namely the Manic Soulcaster in the Reno Mage build, and then the Kundra that plays Cold Light Oracle. Talk to us about those options and where they're strong and why.
The Kundra is something we've talked a lot about. None of us have really played that much Druid since, I mean, you can't really play Druid on ladder right now because of all the shamans, but in practice, I feel like we felt like the Kundra has better matchups against what we want to like counter it against. So for say against Reno Lock, it just has a better win percentage where it's always gonna almost get a win. And if we're playing the right list, I'm not sure. None of us are particularly experts in that deck, but I mean it's a fun deck as well. It's very different. It's very different from J Druid and other Druids you've really seen. So we like it. And I mean as for the Reno Mage goes, it's kind of me and Oskaka were talking a lot about it yesterday, what we want to do with Reno Mage coming into this weekend. We knew that basically we wanted it to counter Pirate Warrior, which was the idea, and then we were going to get countered by Priest was our thought, but I mean, it's just we wanted to build it against aggro as much as possible, so that's why we teched some of our cards in.
All right, awesome, man. Cool to hear your thoughts, and big win for you guys this week. We look forward to see if you guys can continue the streak next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, cool to hear your thoughts. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings, though, as to see where Alliance sits now with that win. Of course, Complexity Luminosity G2 still tied at 2-0. We'll see them play either today or later on in the week. Team Liquid and Tempo Storm and Alliance now in the middle of the pack. Tempo Storm is now tied with Alliance because of their loss and because of Alliance's win. And look at that game score. That's looking a lot better for Alliance.
Yeah, much better. Again, they went up the total number of games they've won this week by 300%. In the previous 2 weeks,